This is a public announcement. If you find a confused radio presenter aimlessly wandering the corridors, please return them to Studio 5 on the upper rotunda.
Hutton Orbital. They don't make them like this anymore. Health and safety won't let us.
Well, if you were coming out to Hutton Orbital for Galactic Bookfast Day, then you've missed it. That was last week, and we were all too hammered to put a show on. Since no one can actually remember what happened, we've reviewed the security footage, and it wasn't pretty. Rudolph Hooker went for a little lie down on the baggage collection carousel in the arrival lounge and ended up being sold in an auction of unclaimed luggage. The apology officer got hold of a hoverboard, set everything to max, and was last seen screaming along the parade. That was a week ago. Wilma ended up in the Budget Clones for You birthing pool because she thought it was a jacuzzi and insisted on being called the Queen of the Clones. Flossy was selling her own bathtub bookfast, but it melted a hole through the bath and 3 floors of the station, so she had to stop. Huang Ke took control of the defence turrets and blasted a continent-sized cock and balls onto the surface of Eden. Sandy Crevice took over Karaoke You Like, locked the doors, and belted out a series of his favourites across the station PA system. Station security treated this as a hostage-taking scenario and tear-gassed the whole lot of them before he got to My Way, for which they have the thanks of everybody on the station. Gusto the Clown seemed unaffected by Bookfast Day, just a normal day for him, sitting in the corner swearing under his breath, making rude balloon shapes and causing traffic jams as he trundles along the vehicle corridors on his little tricycle. The footage cuts to Studio 5, and floor mopping guy can be seen clearing away the empties before giving the place a deep clean. He stops, writes a note on a piece of card, and holds it up to the camera. It's a note for Rudolph, and it reads,
Our mics are live. I'm Rudolph Hooker, your host for the evening, and I've been hired out to Hutton News for the evening.
I'm Wilma Fingerdew, and along with my army of clone attendants, I'll be adding a touch of class to tonight's proceedings. Now, who's got the angle grinder? My bunions are giving me jip.
I'm Mia Harkness, and I need new batteries for my hoverboard.
I'm Huang Ke, and I find the best way to avoid a hangover is to stay drunk.
I'm Norma Snockers, and I've been bathing in homemade bookfast for a week, so no naked flames.
I'm Sandy Crevice, and I know a song that'll really get on your nerves. Well, to be fair, that's any song when I sing it.
Okay, before he launches into another rendition of Delilah, let's get on to the headlines. If you're wondering what a 1-ton banana, a glaive, a poster of Hudson with silly glasses, a big chart, an aardvark named Alan, and a mug have in common, wonder no longer. Hot-footing it to the infirmary after floor avoidance fail.
Sinks in the pink as engineers boost their capacity.
Too Hot, Too Messy, Week 42 update.
Celebrity chef's smoothie misadventure with Thargoid glaive power.
Thargoid-powered smoothie machine sparks controversy and protests.
Federal presidential candidates getting the hang of this campaigning.
Atris is back with yet more Thargoid news for the week.
And I'll be rounding off with a cursory glance at Hutton's systems.
First up in today's news, we bring you a cautionary tale that combines childhood nostalgia, hazardous playtime, and a dash of common sense. It's time for the reminder. Please, for the love of all that's sane and intact, do not play the game The Floor is Lava with real lava. Now, we've all played the innocent childhood game where you imagine the floor transforming into a bubbling pool of molten lava, and your only chance of survival is to gracefully navigate the room by leaping from one safe spot to another. It's a game that stirs our imaginations and tests our agility, but there's an important distinction to be made. The floor in that game is not made of actual lava. Believe it or not, there have been reports from Nurse Wyeth over at the Hutton Infirmary of a few, one intrepid, or perhaps misguided soul, attempting to recreate this childhood game using real lava. Yes, you read that correctly. Lava. The sizzling, scorching, rock-melting substance that has no business being anywhere near your living room or any other place where humans typically reside. So, let's take a moment to reflect on the numerous reasons why this is a phenomenally terrible idea, shall we?
Reason 1. Lava is hot. Like, really, really hot.
Yes, in case you missed the memo, lava is molten rock spewed forth from a volcano. It reaches temperatures that could rival the surface of the sun. Okay, maybe not that hot, but you get the point. Touching real lava would result in immediate, agonizing pain, and at best the kind of injury that would make you the subject of cautionary campfire tales and news articles.
Reason 2. Lava does not respect carpeting or furniture.
Now, here at Hutton, we are not claiming to be interior design experts, but I'm fairly certain that your lovely Persian rug or plush recliner was not designed to withstand the intense heat and destructive power of molten rock. The resulting mess would not only ruin your furniture, but likely result in the kind of insurance claim that makes insurance agents cringe and reconsider their life choices.
Reason 3. Lava is not a respecter of personal safety.
Imagine, if you will, leaping from your coffee table to your couch, the exhilaration of narrowly escaping the sizzling embrace of the lava beneath your feet. Now replace that imaginary lava with the real thing. Suddenly that leap of faith transforms into a leap of "Goodbye, cruel world," as you hurtle towards a certain fiery demise. Not exactly the picture of fun and games, is it?
Reason 4. Lava-proof hazmat suits are hard to find, and probably don't exist.
Let's say, for argument's sake, that you're a die-hard thrill-seeker who is fully committed to the idea of playing The Floor is Lava with the real deal. Your first step, no pun intended, would be to locate a lava-proof hazmat suit. Spoiler alert, it doesn't exist. Not only would you be risking life and limb, but you'd also be risking a considerable dent in your bank account as you futilely search for protective gear that cannot protect you from certain doom. All in all, and even with the benefit of zero gravity at Hutton Orbital, meaning you could potentially sail serenely over the lava that you've somehow managed to pour all over the floor, or maybe just melt using a portable beam laser, the chance of you careening off a piece of scenery and putting a foot down to steady yourself is quite high. In potentially unrelated news, if anyone's in the market for a piece of modern art that in rock form resembles a lounge carpet with a footprint right in the middle of it, they should write to one Sandrine, care of Amelia Hawke, Hutton Orbital, in orbit around Eden, Proxima Centauri, somewhere near Sol. We're reliably informed that it has now cooled, but you'll need to bring your own lifting gear and maybe an art cutter to hack the doorway into the right shape. Oh, and Nurse Wyeth was asking whether anyone could bring a shipment of cooling lotion and bandages to the station, as all of hers have been used up.
Pilots throughout the galaxy breathed a sigh of relief just over a week ago when galactic engineers lifted their embargo on their cunning caustic heatsink capacity upgrades and once again allowed commanders to soak up the incoming sticky goo that little bit more for each foray into the Thargoid maelstroms. With pilots heading deeper and deeper into the maelstroms and indeed over recent weeks taking their space selfie stick, the Spelfie stick, right to the Titans at the heart, yet more protection was needed against the ongoing caustic onslaught, with barrages of missiles being fired from Titans as well as passing glaives who appear to have an endless supply of sticky green goo to fling in our direction. Anything that lets a pilot live long enough to experience the big Tesla coil blast of doom from the Titan is a good thing. Whilst, like the caustic clouds, the likelihood of surviving one of these is negligible, it has given galactic streamers and astrophotographers some of the most stunning pictures to date. Never has your impending doom looked quite as pretty. While some commanders may have been visiting Eddie Lee Wise and Sons, plus his daughters, latest venture into their tartan for your ship emporium over in Lave to be able to dress up like a Thargoid to avoid detection, the caustic sinks are a proven way to stem the incoming corrosion on your ship. Comprising a big bucket and computer-powered squeegee combo, as well as a nice coiled meta-alloy elastic band to yeet the bucket as far away as possible, the engineering upgrade means you get one more bucket than normal, giving you those precious extra few minutes. There are rumours that, hot on the heels of the Thargoid Wave Avoiding Suppression Kit, the bucket and squeegee upgrade for your caustic sinks, there's a new item coming. A scanner that spreads wide enough to work out what the blazes the Titans are made of. They are very big. And of course, with a refresh rate fast enough to track and scan a passing glaive before it turns you into a big pile of space scrap. Scrap, not crap. Whether we're getting a big spoon for the custard pot at the centre or any other engineered wizardry remains to be seen, but for the time being, you just have to be content with going, wow, at your nearest Titan.
After 42 weeks or 9-ish months, Too Hot, Too Messy, the Hutton-led initiative to deliver a Hutton mug and Centauri Megagin to all the stations of the galaxy, has achieved over 75,000 deliveries. At 1,400 for the second week in a row, deliveries have been up for a month after the previous low, and the 4-week average is up by 110 to 1,344 deliveries a week. Again, no new commanders have joined the effort this week, leaving the numbers signed up at 288 commanders, representing 95 squadrons. Hutton still has the largest contingent, and now with 92 commanders who have delivered 39,500 mugs, more than half the total. And thanks go to all the other squadrons taking part and delivering the other almost half. The Buckyball Racing Club are still in second place with over 4,400, the Winged Hussars are holding third with over 3,000, and the Paladins are in fourth with 1,800. The Burpit are 300 behind them in fifth, and the Anti-Xeno Initiative were closing fast on the Burrs, only 150 behind them, but then the one commander, the Order of the 12th, has overtaken them into sixth. The Soteria Chord are eighth, and the Undead are ninth, concluding the 1,000 Club. Will Bandicut's mug win spur them on to make Jedi Inc. a new member next week? Him, the one with no life, is still leading the deliveries table with almost 10,500 mugs delivered. Some say that he still thinks the first 10,000 mugs will be the hardest. Waller 81 is second with almost 9,000 deliveries, ahead of Nem in third with over 5,700, with Shay Blackwood in 4th place with almost 4,400 ahead of Infinite Dreamer in 5th with almost 2,800. Sinister Hedgehog is joint 9th after catching the stationary for months Mouse 8287, who was previously 3rd when they mysteriously ceased deliveries. But they in turn are being chased hard by Talkie Mouse, no relation I'm reliably informed, in 11th, who is trailing them by only 30 mugs. Hi Job has been chucking them out this week like a hyperactive Hermes driver and will be the one to watch in future. The 1000 Club still has 13 members. Of course, we know all this because it's tracked live in the Too Messy event in the Helper. In addition to trying to impress the Vista Genomics lady with your mugging prowess, and let's face it, she's only really interested in your concha labiata, there's a chance to win a real-world handler-to-jaunty angle dishwasher-safe self-heating Hutton mug. Any commander that delivers 10 mugs and gin in the weekly Thursday to Thursday period will be entered into the next week's draw to win a real Hutton mug, unless of course you already have one. 41 lucky commanders have accomplished this so far, and you can see a little golden mug next to their names in the top commanders table. Last week's winner was The Burke, so keep listening for this week's winner to be announced in the banter bit after the news. If you had delivered 10 mugs and gin in every week since the start 9 months ago, you'd have racked up at least 420 deliveries. And only 30, or just 1 in 10 of signed up commanders have managed this. If you haven't, why not give it a try and share the burden? In order to join in the fun, you'll need to sign up by downloading the Hutton Helper from hot.forthemug.com/download, and then you can sign up and your mug and gin deliveries will be automatically registered for you by Antarius's non-GMO grass-fed quasi-sentient replicant hamsters, which come with a limited lifespan but real lab-grown fur.
In a bizarre and ambitious culinary experiment gone wrong, the renowned galactic celebrity chef, Chef Gordon Slamsey, known for his fiery temper and meat hammer wit, recently attempted to create the ultimate smoothie machine powered by the otherworldly technology of the Thargoid glaive. Let's just say that the results were interesting. Chef, with his signature meta-alloy apron and a mischievous gleam in his eyes, had the audacious idea of harnessing the raw power of the Thargoid glaive to create a gargantuan smoothie machine capable of blending anything in its path. He believed that infusing the smoothies with a touch of extraterrestrial energy would give them an otherworldly taste that would tantalize even the most discerning palates. Equipped with his trusted spatula and a team of wide-eyed assistants, Chef Slamsey embarked on his plan. After enlisting a number of the more thrill-seeking pilots of the Anti-Xeno Initiative, a giant space speed trap, and a big butterfly net, they managed to capture an intact glaive from the area around the Oya Maelstrom. It escaped after one lightning attack melted the handle, but the pilots were able to pin it to the ground using a number of Type 7s rigged with Thargoid-proof bullhorns. This mission, completed with little loss of life and only a few rebuys, the Thargoid glaive was carefully integrated into the meta-alloy protected machinery in orbit around a nearby planet. Sparks flew, and the contraption roared to life with an ominous hum. The grand unveiling of the Thargoid glaive-powered giant smoothie machine drew a crowd of food enthusiasts and skeptics alike. The excitement in the air was palpable, mingling with the scent of freshly picked fruits, vegetables, and a hint of caustic green. Little did the spectators know that they were about to witness a spectacle that would forever be etched into their gastronomic memories. Chef Slamsey, with his flair for the dramatic, approached the smoothie machine in his fully prepared and rather ostentatious mamba. At his command, a passing Type 9 tossed an assortment of vibrant fruits into the maw of the contraption. The Thargoid glaive's energy crackled, surged, and span, lending an eerie glow to the proceedings. With a flick of a switch, the giant blades turned the innocent fruits into a swirling vortex of pulpy chaos, accompanied by some very angry Thargoid noises. Or maybe their equivalent of om nom 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 nom. However, the combination of Thargoid glaive power and the sheer force of the machine proved to be too much for the unsuspecting fruits. Pineapples were launched into orbit, strawberries ricocheted off the walls, and banana-shaped dents appeared in the walls of the gargantuan glaive-powered smoothie machine. The chaos was akin to a fruit-based fireworks display gone awry. To make matters worse, Chef Slamsey's assistants were caught in the crossfire. One poor soul, in an attempt to corral an errant orange, found himself spinning like a human smoothie within the machine. The resulting concoction became known as the Blender Blast-Off Special, a smoothie that left customers questioning their life choices and contemplating the meaning of centrifugal force. Amidst the chaos, Chef Slamsey remained surprisingly composed. With a hearty laugh and a twinkle in his eye, he proclaimed, "Well, that's what you call blending with flair." His irreverent humour did little to alleviate the sticky mess that now covered the machine and most of the surrounding space, mainly as the lid wasn't on properly. But it certainly lightened the mood. Despite the smoothie machine disaster, Chef Slamsey remains undeterred. Rumour has it that he is already devising a new culinary contraption involving Thargoid sensor technology and a whole lot of spices. Only time will tell if the gastronomic marvels or mishaps await us in his relentless pursuit of culinary excellence. Oh, and if anyone knows where in the galaxy he managed to find those one-ton bananas, the Galnet Rares Digest would love to hear about it. So, if you ever find yourself in the vicinity of Chef Slamsey's kitchen, buckle up and prepare for a culinary adventure like no other. Just be sure to keep a safe distance from any Thargoid-powered machinery, unless you're willing to risk being blended into a smoothie of intergalactic proportions. Bon appetit!
Breaking news! In the wake of potty-mouthed Chef Slamsey's ill-fated Thargoid glaive-powered smoothie machine experiment, the galactic culinary community has found itself embroiled in a heated debate over the ethical implications of harnessing Thargoid technology for gastronomic endeavours. As expected, the pro-xeno Thargoid lovers vehemently voiced their objections, leading to a series of protests and even an audacious attack on the colossal smoothie contraption. Proclaiming that Thargoids are friends, not ingredients, passionate activists, clad in vibrant Save the Thargoids t-shirts, took to the space lanes to protest against Chef Slamsey's brazen use of Thargoid technology in the pursuit of culinary innovation, chanting slogans and brandishing signs that read "Hands off our Thargoids" and "Thargoids deserve respect, not to be blended." The protesters sought to raise awareness about the potential harm inflicted upon these enigmatic extraterrestrial beings. While the protests were mostly peaceful, there were a few incidents where things had got a bit out of hand. In a particularly daring act of defiance, a group of activists infiltrated Chef Slamsey's kitchen fortress, armed with nothing but determination and caustic resistance suits. They managed to sneak past the kitchen staff, bypass security systems, and make their way to the gargantuan smoothie machine. Unleashing their fury, activists unleashed a barrage of missiles and plasma attacks upon the machine, hoping to disable it and save the Thargoids from further exploitation. The resulting chaos resembled a scene from an intergalactic action movie, with smoothie ingredients and Thargoid technology colliding in a whirlwind of destruction. Despite their valiant efforts, the protesters were eventually apprehended by security personnel and escorted to the nearest penitentiary. Chef Slamsey, undeterred by the commotion, stood defiantly amid the chaos, an unyielding spatula in hand, ready to defend his Thargoid-infused culinary vision. He may have used some rather choice language, which isn't suitable for broadcast before or even during the watershed, but may have alluded to the dodgy parentage of the protesters and what they can do with his giant space banana, without lube. The incident triggered a broader conversation within the galactic community about the ethical treatment of Thargoids and the boundaries of culinary exploration. Supporters of Chef Slamsey argued that the Thargoid glaive-powered smoothie machine was an artistic expression of culinary innovation, pushing the boundaries of flavour and texture in unimaginable ways. On the other hand, critics maintain that Thargoids should be revered, not consumed, as they represent an important and mysterious element of the galaxy's ecosystem. They insisted that alternative methods should be explored to appreciate Thargoids, such as promoting interspecies communication and scientific study. The Thargoid-powered smoothie machine controversy has left the culinary world divided. Some establishments have embraced the daring fusion of Thargoid technology and gastronomy, offering dishes like Xeno Delight Smoothie Surprise or Alien Infusion Fruit Blast on their menus. Others, however, have taken a firm stance against such practices, vowing to maintain a Thargoid-friendly environment and promote conservation efforts. As the debate rages on, one thing is certain: the Thargoid-powered smoothie machine has sparked more than just controversy. It has ignited a fierce passion for protecting these enigmatic beings. Whether they're to be loved, feared, or sipped through a straw, the fate of the Thargoids rests in the delicate balance between culinary exploration and ethical considerations. In the end, the galactic culinary community must navigate this complex terrain, seeking harmony between gastronomic innovation and respecting the wonders of the universe. Perhaps a compromise can be reached, where Thargoid-friendly ingredients and cooking techniques coexist with the culinary visionaries.
Federal presidential candidates appear to be getting the hang of this campaigning lark this week. A Galnet News has been reporting that they've been appealing to federal voters, which is nice, given the fact that the only votes that count are indeed from federal citizens, as long as they bring their ID. Oh, and as long as they're not mad. Unless they're the president, in which case that's okay. Or under the age of 100, and therefore not likely to vote for the current president. Or have ever written anything disparaging about Hudson. Or ever hit like on a photo of the opposition candidates. Or own a Hutton mug. But everyone apart from them can vote, as long as they serve in the military. Anyway, the candidates are appealing to them. A number of them had to do a galactic facepalm as they spent a small fortune in Void Opal's leafleting Imperial citizens, and one had apparently written to the Alliance. That letter got lost in the post as everyone's forgotten where the Alliance actually are. But at least one candidate has decided to pin his candidacy for president on a single issue. In his case, he's declared war on everyone's favourite federal daytime cartoon animal, Alan the Aardvark, for failing to uphold the federal values of bigotry, xenophobia and governmental interference. One particular episode, where Alan gives an Imperial ant a corner of his cheese sandwich, is said to have triggered the candidate's ire, as according to him, the only good bug is a dead bug. Others have been practicing those age-old federal campaign trail tricks of kissing babies, licking windows, denying that they've got any skeletons in their closets, and of course taking potshots at their fellow candidates. Federal security services have had to remind them that yeeting live mines instead of rotten fruit at your opposition is not acceptable, mainly as it damages nearby buildings and can't be washed off with a power spray. Hudson, meanwhile, is taking a completely different tack. He has announced that the elections are to be postponed, while the special military operation against the Thargoids is ongoing. And no, he doesn't know when it will end, but at the current rate, he could be keeping that seat warm for a good while longer. Unless we work out how to enter the Titan custard pot, trademark the pink wafer, or stick a bung in it long enough to stop more interceptors spawning. Sick of the power play portrait of Hudson? I'm afraid you'll have to put up with it a little while longer. But we do have an ample supply of digital marker pens, so you can draw glasses and a moustache on his face in your own cockpit.
Good evening, truckers. Atras 5060 reporting in with the latest updates on the Thargoid War. Mode Alliance managed to fully contain the spread of Thargoids in Tyrannus, and Aegis begins a very personal campaign to let us know of a new module to come. How exciting. Starting off tonight's update, Aegis saw fit to send all commanders a very personalised message saying they would atone for the mistakes of the past. That was very naughty, wasn't it? And focus more as a scientific organisation first. How lovely. And a military operation second. Alongside this very heartfelt message was the news that they're also developing a new version of Xeno's scanner. Probably goes beep, which recently saw an upgrade in scan range a while back when Professor Palin, he's lovely, you know, makes wonderful cucumber sandwiches, realised he could just increase the power to it to make it read Thargoid ships from 2 kilometres instead of the old 500-metre limit. This new module will be specifically designed around scanning the Thargoid Titans. They're ever so big in the heart of the maelstroms, with the hopes that it'll reveal some sort of weakness that will give us an edge to finally rid ourselves of these maelstroms once and for all. The broader AX community, or is that the Axe community? Anyway, they saw a big week of victories with 55, yes, count them all, 55 systems across all the maelstroms defended from the Thargoids. Yay! The Oya battle group continues to impress every week as they quickly clear any threats and manage to even retake Thargoid control systems. Everyone give a little cheer. Hackswing had a very good week alongside its allies in the Mode Alliance, or is that MODE, clearing 7 systems of Thargoid threat near the Tyrannus Maelstrom. We successfully defended the Paini, Lavruju, Imetu, Awara, 63 Eridani, Namayu, HR1812 and Senocidi systems, leaving Tyrannus with no active invasions this week. This run of success has boosted morale amongst the members of MODE, or MODE, whichever. It's in capital letters anyway, and we hope to continue this good run near the Cocky Joe Maelstrom, where MODE, or MODE, will start this week's efforts. Good job. Hackswing, your orders for this week will be to defend Col 285, Sector AF-E B13-5. I'll give you time to get a pen. Yeah, there you go. Col 285 Sector AF-E B13-5 and Col 285 Sector YTF B12-3 from Thargoid Invasion. We will then move on to any populated alert systems in the area, and following those, we're then going to move back to the Tyrannus Maelstrom to clear any remaining alerts there. I hope you were paying attention. Col 285 Sector AF-E B13-5 Bertha. I'm going to call it Bertha. Only has planetary bases, so we breathe a little easier knowing there'll be no Thargon swarms to contend with. That's lovely, isn't it? However, we will have to watch out for those nasty glaives and maybe that chef fella. Prep your ships and see you out there, truckers. For the mug.
7 systems are proving to be problem children this week, but the board, known as the Master Display Threat Situation Control Monitoring Panel for short, remains fairly clear, with only 1 active adverse state and none pending. More on those stories coming up. Just dipping below 40% 2 weeks ago, Ross 671 continued its gradual descent with a full-on freefall plummet through the 30s to 29, where it came to a shuddering halt last week and where it has remained since. Will it continue to fall? Who knows? Tune in next week to find out. A civil war has just started, which is locking up 30% of system influence, so leave that to resolve itself before going in there next week to boost Hutton's fortunes. Previous low system on the pole, Stein 2051, benefited from a brief period of boosting, reaching 36, but has since fallen back to 30, just a point above Ross 671. A war between two factions will take until the weekend to play out, locking up a third of system influence. After a good couple of weeks, almost lifting out of the zone of concern, 36 Ofuyuki is still recovering from a terrorist attack, falling back to 32, and with the Seoul Workers' Party only 7 points behind, it's a good time to get in and boost Alvin's second newest system. Hill Parsai continues its doldrum dwelling, still sitting on 33, having not moved at all for 2 weeks. The war is due to finish imminently, so jump in there and boost influence. LP 525-39, which lost another point in addition to 2 points last week, ended up on 34. Due to faction squabbling, only 10% of the system's influence is available to exploit, so leave it until it dies down there. Also not moving is the notoriously hard-to-move Epsilon Indi, which also lost a point, leaving it on 36. The nearest faction is more than 20 points behind, so there's no immediate concern. Notice how we don't talk about Barnard Star much these days. Well, now we do, as it was living the high life on 42, but lost 5 points in the week to drop it back into familiar territory. PSPF-LF2 is under terrorist attack, so if you want to re-equip your non-AX weapons for a while, jump in there and shoot something that spurts red goo instead of green. At the overachieving end of the Hutton Systems table, we have 4 systems above 60%. And priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, truck it 0.14 light years to boost 36 Ofuyuki. If you want to shoot something, shoot some terrorists in PSPF-LF2.
And, we're back in the studio. Only a few seams there. Invisible seams, mine, but a few seams. Sorry about the backing music there. The button broke. Came off in my hand. But it's feeling better now, so I managed to get it wibbling away most of the way through Atris. Anyway, I am joined in the studio this evening, as if you're watching on the Twitch stream, you can see from the top of the screen, by Amelia. Good evening, Amelia.
Hello.
Now, Floor and Lava.
Yes, her foot is bandaged.
Yes.
Like, 3 times the size of her foot style, cartoonish bandage.
Yes, but I'm assuming, not playing the Floor is Lava in your house is as a lesson that's been well learned.
Yeah, well learned. Not a good idea.
No, definitely not a good idea. Well, we're glad that Sandrine
As it turns out.
Yeah, I'm glad that Sandrine is feeling better anyway. And, no more trips to the nearest burns unit for you.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, other than take the bandages off, of course.
Well, yeah. But, other than that, let's hope I don't see those people again.
Yeah, well, just give Sandrine a hug from us and go there and things.
I will.
Air Hospital's got a great buns unit. It's not.
What?
Air Hospital's got a great buns unit.
What, Rabbi Burns?
Yeah, it doesn't deal with buns. It's just named after him. It's really good.
Oh, Rabbi. Oh, yes. I thought it was but Sandrine's not a timorous wee beastie or whatever the wording is.
No, she's
well,
not,
that's
no.
up for debate, really, isn't it?
Could have been for carpet burns.
Not really.
Yeah. Anyway, well, joining us also in the studio, the second image on screen at the moment, we have Commander Flossy.
Hello.
It was a bit of a convenient one for you last week because, as we'll find out during your CG bit, there was a little bit of a gap, but now you're back with a bang with some more CG news later in the show.
Yes, certainly am.
Yeah, and you did get your Don't Be Mean to Thargoids news article as well.
Yes.
Not that you sit on the fence at all, but you're not really an AX pilot very much, are you?
No.
No, but have you been trying any of the on-foot bits? And we know you're a terror with a rocket launcher to the back of the head.
I haven't done any of the on-foot stuff where there's any type of fire guards around.
Right. Well, yeah. So Flossy's definitely in the don't be mean to Thargoids sort of camp in the Hutton team. Yes. Yeah. Give them hugs, but only if they're not shooting caustic things at you, and in which case just run away. Or if you can't run away, from glaives, because you can't run away from glaives, can you?
Combat dog.
We don't condone that kind of behaviour. I mean, you just yank the eject lever and throw a Hutton mug at them while you yell things. And self-destruct, always an option. Quick trip back to the nearest station. Anyway, sitting next to Flossy, we have the ever-static apology officer.
Hello.
Hello. We do maybe later in this bit have to talk about your hoverboard.
Yes.
Which you now have. It finally made its went its way up north of the wall to North Britain.
Yeah. It's up in a corner of the living room just now. I can't get it down for the ceiling.
You're right. Okay. Well, maybe the batteries will run out sometime soon.
Yeah, possibly.
And obviously, we missed your report last week, so we might have a double bubble on some winners.
Double bubble, double the weight, double the winners.
Fantastic. And next to you, we have the Lithobreaker, who has now come down from the Apex taxi that got stuck. It was in a loop somewhere over Seoul. And
said something about waiting for docking permission and sat there for 12 hours. So.
Yeah, just as we were going towards show o'clock as well. So between thee and me, both of us were stuck elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. Yeah, you have landed now, and you're back from parts foreign.
Yep, back in the England, good old sunny England.
Yep, also known as South Britain for those of them west over the pondy bit, And then we have Commander Chicks. Good evening. Now, I did see a photograph of you standing astride a massive cannon.
Oh, yes.
Earlier in the week.
Well, it's 3, actually.
We're not talking about Cannon Interstellar, but, the other kind.
They are Mark 23 breech-loading naval guns.
What with a what?
They are
Mark 23
breech-loading naval guns. 6
If you don't know what a Mark 23 breech-loading naval gun is, fires 6-inch shells. I don't know where the word's coming
14.2 miles.
Yeah.
Quite clearly, it's a naval gun which is breech-loading, and it's Mark 23.
That's
right.
You mean the Mark 23 breech-loading naval gun?
Yeah, not the 21.
That's the one, yeah.
Not the 21. They were twin turrets.
Is that the 6-incher?
Yep. That's the one.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, that of course is the things it yeets, especially for the benefit of Little Grey, who thinks the word yeet should be used a lot more in Hutton Orbital Radio shows.
Very good word.
Yeah, it is. It
is a good word.
153 pounds, or what's that?
That's cheap.
50 kilos in new money.
Yeah,
about 75 kilos.
No, it's
give or take. So one of those numbers, and for those of you measuring in Merkin measurements, that's 2 bananas and an aardvark.
That's right.
Yeah, but what size of banana?
No, it's 3/8 of a giraffe.
Standard.
Oh, standard banana.
Standard banana.
Metric banana.
Message from Volcarius. No, we're not making yeet this week's word. You'll have to listen out what this week's word is at the end of this segment.
This week's word.
We'll get into the script later.
Now, technically speaking, we do have a green room this week. Actually, no, I forgot me. And there's me. There you go. Right, and we do have a green room week this week.
Who are you?
Yeah, who am I? I was away, but I'm back.
Who let you in?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Whoever it is who's judging the hours that the crew are keeping and paying them by the hour, given that the shows I'm normally on are the longer ones. Anyway, so...
We also have drops.
We have drops. Yes.
We have, yes.
It's not a medical condition.
If anyone's collecting If anyone's collecting drops, we've been on for more than half an hour, so you can go and hit claim and start on the second one.
Yep.
Well, it's odd, because mine seems to be stuck, because it keeps...
They stop until you hit claim.
Well, I know, but I keep refreshing. And
I think you just have to watch multiple
60%.
weeks.
I don't know. It is a green room week, and you are here. I think we'll probably get through all of them tonight.
Yeah, probably will. Yeah.
When it gets stuck, it's usually because you're not actually watching the Twitch. You have to be
make sure it's
watching
not
the
a background
Twitch.
tab.
Oh yes, yeah. You can't cheat.
Well, it has to be. So how can I read the script and?
Yeah, I know.
What, you only have one
to have
screen?
more than one window open.
Yeah, many screens. But anyway, for those of you watching,
you read the script.
We have got
There's
scripts.
a script?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, for those of you watching on Twitch, yes, there are drops this week. And other than that, yes, it's a green room week, which means towards the end of the show, if anybody feels like it, do feel free to pop into the green room on our TeamSpeak server. Now, Flossy, the TeamSpeak server address is...
TS forthemug.com.
Yep, ts.forthemug.com. And Amelia, what is that Flossy's read out not?
It's not a website.
But it is.
A TeamSpeak server.
Yes, and when you get in there, you'll arrive in the landing pad and just pop yourself down into the green room, and we'll either drag you in with us or we'll open the door and we'll all run into the green room later in the show to say hi. And if there's nobody there, then we all get to leave early and you don't get all your drops. So I need to turn some things off on screen, turn some things off on screen, because dun dun dun, there was a live stream this week.
No.
Not this week.
Well, there's a live stream since the last show.
They yeeted one in last week.
They did indeed. And I've got on screen here, we have the hosts, or the starter hosts for this one.
By default, since they seem to be the only two.
Yeah, that Splitter Gambit.
Two left.
Went off to play with Formula One cars or something, or whatever he's up to. Heartily disappointed that mug on the table isn't a Hutton Orbital mug, but or even the pink mug. I don't know what Sally's done with the pink mug.
She told me in the Science Museum that it is in a very safe place.
Yes, and we
and
do
it
understand
hasn't
that Dom Corner, having left, did manage to retrieve his mug from the lost and found. It wasn't lost; it had been pinched from his desk when he moved teams, and he had to go to the lost and found to get it back again. So he has retrieved his Hutton mug, and it is safe.
Is that some sneaky product placement? I see.
Well, we'll get to that bit.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we'll get to that bit in a bit. I think it's mentioned after Jude's bit.
That was the
yes,
the draw.
Yes, right. So they were on the stream. They were talking about this update. What are we on 15?
Well, they were talking about, first thing they were talking about was the new bait jobs.
Oh yes.
If you
I
want
might
to
have
stay
pictures
in.
of those.
Yeah, you have. They're there in the script.
There we go. It's on screen now.
Yes. Oh, is it? It's like oof.
Ooh, Jin's
eyes.
Cribbins, help
Wow.
the boy.
Psychedelic,
Certainly
dude.
hit you in the eye, don't they?
Turn the colour down on your monitor. Do not adjust the colour balance on your monitor.
Yeah, for those
No,
of you
please,
watching,
no.
for those of you like me with colourblind, they're sort of a bluey grey and a
grey,
greeny
are they?
yellow. Yes.
No, that's the planet.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, they're anything but.
It's the pink and yellow
Quite
thing in front of the
bright.
planet. Yes.
Yep. So they look like some freshly not yet mown grass against some lovely sky or something.
No, they don't.
No,
Great
not
for
at all.
burning the retinas out of your
Are
enemies.
you talking? This is the colourblind guy trying to describe them. You lot describe them. It's
They look like
swooshes.
somebody has shredded a high-vis jacket and draped it across the top of an explosion in a unicorn factory.
There we go.
Bermuda. That's what I'm thinking of. Bermuda shorts. That's the same thing as Bermuda shorts.
Well, so there's that one which is the Meadow Prairie, and then we've also got this one, another new one.
Well,
Which
these are the ones
Oh,
that
that's- yeah.
you are getting right now.
Yeah, I've got my
by
first one.
watching
Dessert.
an
Snake
Elite
wrap
Part
dessert.
program stream. And you
Is
can
that
get
served with whipped cream?
Quite
yes,
fancy.
and you can get so they glow. The steak actually glows in the dark.
Yeah. That does look like a sort of greeny colour, though, doesn't it? The background colour looks kind of greeny rather than deserty beige, really.
So you'll get the anaconda, the asp, and the mamba by
Nice.
watching anybody who's streaming Elite Dangerous. But because Hutton is in the Elite Partner Program, you'll get the Cobra paint job as well.
Oh!
And if your name is David Braben, that's a cobra.
Yeah.
Well, it's lucky it isn't then, isn't it?
Well, funnily enough, if you're flying a snake-named ship, you're going to get the snake wrap.
That's right.
Yay,
Colours does
Finland!
that too.
Anyway, there's a note in here that snake wrap dessert sounds like something Amelia would eat. Well, probably.
Have you ever had snake?
Not for dessert.
Not knowingly.
No.
It's actually not bad, and you can drink the venom too. It tastes kind of like a little like honey.
Okay. Is that shortly
Why?
before your insides liquefy and you die writhing on the floor?
And you've done the snakes
No,
jump
it's
for
it's
it.
venomous, not poisonous.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
venomous,
suppose
yeah,
so.
not
Yeah.
poisonous.
So as long as you haven't got any stomach ulcers, you're safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Just
okay.
make sure you don't have any internal.
And how do we check that?
But anyway, so
Wow.
Snake
during
venom, see what happens.
Drink some snake
You'll
venom,
find out
yes.
quickly.
Yeah, so during the during the live stream with Frontier, they spoke about Update 15. They spoke about there's this Thargoid Maelstrom and the Titan, and then they had some special guests. We're going to talk about the special guests later, I think. But they also mentioned that they may have had a little bit of a get together in the last few weeks as well. Commander Chicks, as you were there, guest of honour, as they say.
Really?
As mentioned in the news
Now you
articles.
tell me.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, that's honor.
There we go. You might even be in the picture. Are you in the picture? No, we can see
The
Commander
back of my
Wotherspoon.
head. That's back in my head.
We can see Arthur and Commander Wotherspoon. And
Can you see the aircraft hanging from the ceiling? You see the furthest most wheel.
Yes.
That's the back of my head below.
Ah, right.
And I think I'm talking to Tom.
You've grown your hair out.
Well, I've had a haircut since. I think that's Tom, the technician, I'm talking to as well. You can't quite see.
But anyway, there was a good turnout from Frontier's team. We did join as part of the EPP, the partner program. Join them for a little bite to eat beforehand with Holly and Kat from the Frontier team, and a bunch of the streamers and LCU joined us as well.
Yes.
Had a bite to eat, and then we wandered in some secret entrance in the side of the Science Museum, and we managed to lose Fiery Toad completely because we all piled into a lift and then it shut, and then he got lost for about an hour trying to find out where we were. It wasn't deliberate, Fiery Toad, really. And yeah, we headed upstairs. They had a bunch of computers up there set up playing Elite. We fired up some CQC, and I realised I didn't know how to play using an Xbox controller. So my demonstrations were pathetic. But other than that, it was lovely to see people.
Yes.
And it was a nice crowd.
There was lots of other stuff going on we were way up in the loft almost.
Yes.
But there was an awful lot going on the ground floor. Most sort of participants had decided they were going to throw their little bit on the ground floor, which was easy to find and get to. So I went down there and I had to wander around and looked at various.
You were
things.
taking part in the silent disco, weren't you?
No, well, I conned them by sort of dancing as if I had headphones on, which I didn't. They were all going, yeah, and I'm going, you're all idiots.
They weren't the one.
But at least you couldn't hear the music.
No, I couldn't. No, yeah.
But anyway, so we introduced
Euro as well.
Elite to. There were a load of new people who did make it upstairs. Then we managed to introduce Elite to them, and there were a bunch of sorts of science students and recent graduates and all sorts. They had no idea it had the actual Milky Way in it, and we were sort of browsing around the star maps, sort of showing them things they'd seen through telescopes, and then we sort of flew them to one of our own systems as well. And
which one?
We went to. I think we went to Barnard's Star.
Nice.
As it needed some help, and flew them around Barnard's Star for a bit. We bumped into Jack Little of streaming fame as well. Turned up, and all sorts of people. There were a few people there from the EDCD, the developer community as well, who do the third-party apps, and lots of familiar faces, including a bunch of people who are also going to ECM. But we'll mention that later. But moving.
Angie was there with a. Oh
my goodness! He goes down to the special effect makeup department, yeah, and he has his forearm done up like he's just got a horrible burn, and then walks up shaking like he's actually injured and says, "I seem to have had an accident." At which point you have maybe that 5 second of, is he legit or is he, and you know, dead worried about Arthur and Hadji, and then he breaks into a grin and goes, "No, it's a makeup department." So you rotter, you
Swine.
yeah.
Oh,
He's
I
a
done them
doctor.
once.
Sorry.
Doctor.
Doctor
I
of
got
what?
made up to make it look like I'd been injured. I think it was a fantastic con that did it once. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, and I was working this week with somebody that was one of the models for when doctors do their training and somebody has to pretend to be injured, and so she's got all the photographs of her being just about every injury you could possibly imagine.
Well, the army use real amputees.
Yes.
So when they're blood bags and things, so as you go over to them, you squeeze the blood bag in their pocket and all this claret squirts out, and then you realise, oh my God, his leg really is missing. Fuck! And it's all done up with like a bone sticking out of it and all squirting blood. And it's
makeup departments. Yeah, this is between movies.
train
I'd
hard,
imagine.
fight
Yeah.
easy.
Well, Hachi's a proper medical doctor.
He's a proper medical doctor, yes. Or yeah.
Can you imagine you're just about to be put under, you're there having your appendix or your kidney removed or something, or swapped over, I don't know. And the sort of...
And the guy in a Snoopy helmet.
the guy in the leather flying helmet comes leaning over you, rubbing his hands, going, "Don't worry, it'll all be fine." As you start
Look
to
what
lose
the makeup
consciousness.
department did to me.
Yeah, I went into the theatre once and discovered that the anaesthetist was somebody I was at university with, and thought, "Oh my goodness, we've been out on drinking sessions. Do I want this person to be anaesthetising me right now? No, right." Anyway, so it was a marvellous meetup. A bit of a warm up meeting for later in the year for us. Now,
then we went to the pub.
Yeah, then we went to you went to the pub. I unfortunately had to get home to go to work. So the next bit, you've got under 15 spoilers. I assume you mean update 15 spoilers.
No, U15. It's all about you.
Right.
Oh, excellent, yeah.
Yeah, and it says those of a nervous disposition should assume the position behind the sofa. Yeah. We should have given the warning before those paint jobs. So I'm going to switch the pictures over to the next bit. Dun, dun, dun. And who wants to introduce this bit? What's Beetlejude up to?
Well, she's produced a picture book
of all of her best art.
Yes,
that must be a big book.
That's all of it.
So there's a just don't go and look now. Well, I suppose you can listen to the show and look as well. But if you
do that, you won't get points towards your paint job.
Google Drive link to this. There's just 4 of the pages here, but you can go to this Google Drive link and lots of pictures there, so you can have a good browse through those. Now, perhaps I wasn't paying attention fully.
Twitch drops.
Yeah, I just got mine actually. Yes,
that's got a LaveCon paint job on it. That one in the bottom right.
Oh yeah.
But there are absolutely loads and loads of these. There's I can't remember, like 50 pages or something of them. But I wasn't paying attention, or whether I missed them saying they're available. I don't know. We'll have to find.
Well, the things we do know is that Jude is going to be showing it off over at the ECM event later in the year, and she's also going to be doing some of these paintings live in person at the event. So we can actually watch her constructing one of these awesome images on a canvas live at the ECM event later in the year in August. And I'm sure we're going to see if we can get some of these prints sort of put up around the room as well, so people can ogle them and go, ooh, like you just did. I mean, that one there of the bottom left on screen now, the spiky crystalline anomalies from...
Actually, I quite like the one to the right of that. See where the asteroid's been blown apart?
Oh, yes.
See that?
Where it looks like there's lava in the middle.
Anybody who says you can't hear images is telling a fib, because you look at that and you can hear the noise, can't you? That noise from when you're in your ship. Amelia, you're an expert at the mining side of things. You know the noise we mean, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that sort of whomp. It's not a boom, it's sort of a thrumming whomp noise.
It's a whomp.
I always like to call it a thoom.
A thoom, yes. And when your cockpit goes a bit wibbly afterwards, yes. And then you're disappointed that the yield wasn't as high as you wanted.
That one in the top left's an asteroid base, look.
It is, yes. And then the next page has got the asteroid base again, top left, with the tow strap coming out of the side of an asteroid. And she's even got a swoosh of the spaceships and... all sorts. They are absolutely stunning. I mean, Jude says, no, they're not that good. She's talking rubbish. Don't listen to Jude when she says they're not that good. These are absolutely the best. I mean, they are...
top right, the Dance of the Limpets.
Ooh, look at that
absolutely. Once again, you can hear 29. It, can't you? The whittle noise they make as they're doing their thing.
Real Stargate stuff as well.
More explosions.
Anyway, so go have a look at that link that Commander Chicks has posted, or come along to ECM and see Jude doing the art in person, or you can find Beetlejude over on Twitter and all sorts with links to these things.
Will we be able to buy this book?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, yes. I would definitely fork out some money for that.
Maybe by the green room section we'll have found out, or maybe Jude can pop up and tell us we should pay more attention.
It wasn't that long ago she did me a lovely painting of my ship in a fiery burning station. Yeah,
I've got one to the left of my station here of my my Anaconda, and in the background is one of the pulsars, and I've got the lights just right, and I got the screenshot and sent it to her, and it is dark as but beautiful.
There is a
got one
burning
on the screen.
station picture later on. Not in those 4 pages, but in the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I've got one of my dogs.
Talking of
on the wall upstairs.
Talking of pictures,
spectacular pictures.
yeah,
Yes.
a load of stellar screenshots and the sort of standard. I don't know whether people are getting used to using the camera suite, but they seem to get better and better every week.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've just got a bad memory.
Or everyone.
No, people are getting really, really good at it. I mean, you know, the stellar
blame the
photography,
Galnet.
the SPVFA guys and the stellar screenshot submissions have been getting better. You know, month on month, they get better. And the more content's put in, and particularly the ones around the Thargoid Maelstrom, where it gives this like Tesla coil effect as it fires off, the Titan fires off this new thing it does. So it all highlights in sort of electricity and then gives a giant Tesla coil effect. There was a beautiful screenshot in there of that one. So yeah, do go and have a look. I think it's tagged on Twitter with the Stellar Screenshots hashtag as well. And there were some goodies to win as well during the...
So the thing, as Amelia mentioned, the product placement on the deck, there was a stream deck there, and a haptic headset.
punches you in the ear every time you get shot.
Yeah,
A Haji headset?
a haptic
Is it leather?
yes, with studs and So they had a couple of competitions, which are as usual anagrams.
Misspelled
And,
in one case.
Yes, a
Yes.
misspelled anagram. So people won those on.
I thought all anagrams were misspelled.
No, they have the
An extra letter.
they have the right letters.
Yeah,
Revenant.
they're all the right
Necessarily.
An extra T in
Not
Revenant.
necessarily in the
Yeah,
right order.
there was an extra T in Revenant. It was a Trevenant.
Yes.
Trevenant, yeah.
Yeah.
I said,
Errol's cousin.
Revenant.
Yes.
Took
Revenant.
So it's a Yorkshire anagram.
And then there was one of the most fascinating segments I've heard in a long time from their special guests on screen at the moment. We do have the two guests. There was Curtis, who is the designer behind the Maelstrom Designs, and Robin from the audio team. I don't know if he's head of audio or he's on the audio team, talking about the design of the Titans and the Maelstroms and the whole influence behind the music they were using and the sound effects and everything, and how he was going for certain vibes at certain times. You know,
Yeah, it's sort of like a film will draw you in with, you know.
it was
it's
very
sort of-
filmic. Yeah.
Yeah. And Curtis was talking.
Bollocks.
No, he absolutely was the opposite of that. Whatever the opposite of that is,
He was talking.
He was talking it.
Talking Thargoids. So they were talking about how.
I was going to say Fanny's, but anyway.
So one of the challenges is you designing stuff now, but you need to stuff's coming later.
Yeah.
But you haven't quite. It's
Yeah.
a little bit like construction. This, something's coming later, but you don't quite know what. So you've got to sort of accommodate it without knowing entirely what it is. So you're going to add more things. So the rough translation I took from that is there's more to come.
Well, yeah, I mean, it started off obviously when we got the Maelstroms, and they knew there was the Titan at the heart of it. So they the design
They
so
then
was
drew up a Titan.
the footsteps towards the big Titans, and
Yeah.
And then
God,
people
it
have
was
already
a
gone
Titan.
in and looked at the custard pot. Sally during this segment called it the custard pot in the middle when it glows. In the middle of the Titan, and Arthur was like, "We can't call it that. You're not allowed to call it that." And the entire 4,000 people on watching went, "Yeah, it's called the custard pot now."
Yeah, hashtag custard pot, yes.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot.
But I mean, just the way the two of them work together, they've got the visual design and the sort of gameplay design elements, and then you've got the audio soundscape, and it has always been one of the greatest parts of Elite has been the audio
Oh, the
soundscape.
sound's always been amazing.
Yeah, there's this
Have
sense.
There's been a lot of stuff that's been put in the game, because I remember they were talking like that about the Zurara. It'd been in the game since the start, but nobody had ever found it.
Well,
And it
that's the
gradually-
problem with 400 billion systems.
Yeah. But what they did was every time they went in and did an update to the game, they improved it and brought it up to the current spec, and then went away and left it again. And then I think it was about 3 years in, somebody tripped over it and went, "Oh, look what I've found."
It's a
And then-
banana-sized needle in a Belgium-sized haystack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Depends on what, and we're talking standard banana here, not giant
Yeah,
banana
yeah.
even.
Yeah, not 1 ton bananas.
Not even inflatable nonsense.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there was all that stuff that was just sitting there waiting to be. There's lots of stuff just waiting to be found, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
the soundscape they were talking about, they wanted to go menacing and big without it being instant combat sound.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to get a sense of foreboding and size, and there were movie influences. He was talking about how they went and watched a bunch of sci-fi to try and get a vibe in there. And in fact, Arthur mentioned some sci-fi, and that he hadn't used as an influence, but he's giving that vibe, and I think he took that as a compliment. That, you know, some of these Hollywood sound guys and girls.
Arthur's favourite film.
Well, yeah,
that film. Yeah.
yeah, that
What
film.
was it?
Oh, I don't remember. Anyway,
Who knows?
but yeah, and they were talking
I
about
haven't
so
seen
everything
that.
from 2001 vibes
Yeah.
to, you know, all these kind of things as influences, and it ends up being incredibly filmic. It is as good as something you'd see in a
I suppose
top tier
what they
movie.
want with the sound as well is they want the whole thing where the hairs in the back of your neck stand up, but it's
I-
not. It's not actually. It's not screaming, "I'm going to kill you! I'm going to kill you!" You just hear it and think, "Oh no, it's going to kill me."
I found I think possibly, it was only after Odyssey came out, but I found I've turned the music back on while I was playing the game. I don't have it very loud. It's sort of there in the, you know, it's
Yeah.
the volume, the music volume is turned down, so it's not in your face. But every now and again, you just sort of hear little bits of it come in, and you think, oh, that's clever.
That's
Well, I remember the
quite
first
good.
time. Sorry.
That's generally quite good for letting you know that scavengers have arrived at your base, at the base that you're
Yes.
ransacking.
No, I'm only there for 20 seconds. It's you eat the mug out. You know, say I've left it with a neighbour.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and they say,
You're
"Oh, you, I want to word with you," and by which time you've already lifted off and you're out of there again. Yeah.
If you're on
the
a
scabs
power
are shooting the crap out of you. Yeah.
If you're on a power-up mission in a base and you're in a building pottering about in and out, and then suddenly you hear the combating music, you think, "Oh no, they're here!
Yeah.
Oh no, there goes my SRV," because guaranteed your SRV will go before you've had a message about it.
Well, I always walk into bases. I always leave my ship half a kilometre out and then walk in.
Saunter,
I
I think, is the word.
Well, I tend to jetpack in there, and
Robbie
But
Rocket
then-
Pants.
Would you? Do you mean you yeet yourself in?
I yeet myself into the air. Well, you've
Is
got
that using the Mark 23?
a grade 5 Maverick with the jetpack. Oh,
Is that the 6-inch one?
jump assist? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Right. Well, so there was that, and then we haven't got pictures for this bit, but I made an ECM trip to Glasgow to see the long missed Commander Psycho Cal.
I've stuck 2 pictures in.
Yeah, and obviously the Apology Officer.
Yes, I've stuck 2 pictures in.
Oh, you have stuck 2 pictures in. Let me see if
Yeah.
I can find the.
2
There you go.
pictures in, 2 fingers up.
Yep, and I'm just going to add those to the. And here we go. And where did you stick them? Oh, you stuck them there, and there. They were the skateboard ones.
Yeah, the ones
Yep.
with the skateboard with no wheels.
Well, let's see if we can get that one up. So the first. Oh no, we have to go all the way through the list.
I've got a paint job.
You got a paint job, a sneaky
I've got a
paint job.
Mamba snake trap, but dessert.
Here we go. We got a picture on screen of the Apology Officer and yours truly with a plank.
Yeah.
Plank into hoverboard.
Yes.
Which one's the plank? The one on the
Well,
right.
3 planks.
Yeah.
One of them's very
2 planks,
beautiful,
but I would.
and the other 2 are us. Yes.
Oh, thanks very much.
yeah.
That's kind of you to say.
Anyway, this
cool
is the EPP hoverboard that finally made its way north of the wall, which we unwrapped over at the hotel next to the venue, and then you had to walk through Glasgow carrying a decorated hover plank.
Yes, with no wheels.
Looks
Yep.
But it
like
was
a right
fine.
hover plank.
It was fine. I got some weird looks, but nobody actually said anything, which is remarkable for Glasgow.
There we are. There's a closer up picture of the
It's more of a
station.
Liverpool plank with no wheels, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
That
you
one's
get
not up
bricks
on
with that
bricks, it's up on a pair of chairs. But yeah, very beautiful
That is
thing.
a thing of beauty. It really is.
Yeah, really nice. And you're mounting that on the wall as a piece of art. I don't think you're going to be hovering your way through Glasgow. on that one.
No. I think they maybe misjudged their client audience for that one, but
Yeah. I mean, have they
But
met most of
It's
us?
a very pretty thing, and I think it's going to. I'm looking at it. I was going to put it sideways, but I think it needs to be vertical to make the most of that artwork.
Well, you mean the logo will be the right way round then?
The logo be the right way around. Station could be any way around, and yeah, pretty much to get the logo the right way around. But that gives me more opportunities. I've been trying it on the wall around various parts of the room, the spare room, to see where it belongs best. And I've found a couple of places that I can't quite decide on yet. But I need to find out how to hang a wheelless skateboard. I'm actually thinking what you could do is you could put a hook on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And put a shoelace through those holes. See the
Yeah,
holes
but
next
then
to
you've
the
got a
start?
nasty shoelace across the image,
Yeah,
So,
but it depends on what colour the shoelace is. You see?
And it bends the other way,
Neon
so it
pink.
doesn't sit flat as well. So
Yeah, but that's why the shoelace would work quite well.
You know what you need
about a
is one of
stand?
those, those suction cups that you put sat navs on the car dashboard or the window. One of those.
yeah, but
rammed
the
on
board is
back.
the board is
The
bent.
board is,
Well,
the board is
it'll,
bent at
it'll
the
cope
ends.
with that. You can stick these things to windscreens and they still work.
Don't use shoelace, use fishing line. It'll be almost completely invisible.
It would
Ooh,
be, yeah.
What
And maybe need to put something in to stop it rubbing
What
against
about
the
a
edge
1-inch
of the hole,
bolt? I
but
can
that
get
could
you
work,
one.
Yeah.
What about putting it on a stand and using it as an ornamental piece, like
I could.
around the room?
Yeah, I could.
yeah. Well, anyway, we went for we
Sticking
did the
on
plank.
wall would get it out of my way, though.
Did the plank
Still
handover,
over.
and
Yes.
then we went for dinner, a very nice India Key, and saw Mr. Cow and Mr. Moof, and they are both very well. And
Yes.
then went over the next night to Shay Cow for handmade burgers and hot wings, followed by computer gaming banter and picking up all the equipment that we could fit into 2 giant suitcases for ECM.
Oh, crikey.
Yep. So we got the induction loop for those that need it with hearing aids. We got a bunch of the webcams so we can see the stage on the stream. We got the wireless microphone so we can walk around and talk nonsense. We got all of the Artemis machines, all 6 Artemis machines in the luggage as well. So yeah.
But not the smoke machine or the...
No, the smoke machine is
No,
banned.
they're really large, yeah. And we'll need to come up with a new captain's chair, and then we can have, somebody sitting in it going, I prefer...
Well, I was going to nick
chair,
one of the big armchairs from the hotel that they have out in the bar. One of the...
Just grab,
that would be nice for a captain. With a mug
just
holder
grab,
on the
grab a
side.
swivel chair and pull one of the wheels off so it's wonky. That'll be a great captain's chair.
Especially the way we fly.
I prefer the big armchair option. Especially, imagine you could have a button back, like a proper button back captain's chair.
Somebody wake the captain up.
Somebody
He's
wake the
snoring
captain.
again.
His coffee's gone cold.
Anyway, right. Well, moving along. Now, obviously, we didn't have a show last week, but we did do a mug draw. So we've got 2 winners this week. Who's got the drum roll button handy? Anybody got a drum roll button? There we go. Oh, that was a very short drum roll.
Wait, that was a little one.
Oh no.
I'm waiting for anybody to be ready for it.
Two. Oh, I thought that was the 2 drum rolls. Okay, so Flossy, you're going to announce it in a second when the drum roll's going. So over to you, Flossy.
Last week's mug winner was the Burke. And this week's mug winner is Infinite Dreamer.
Woohoo! Yay! I'm sure the Infinite Dreamer has a mug already.
Well, I thought so, but I don't know.
No, we'll have to check with the Infinite Dreamer. But if you are the Burke,
Yeah. People surprise you sometimes that
Yeah.
they don't have it. You go,
Yeah.
they don't have a mug. They don't have a...
well, if you're the Infinite Dreamer or you're the Burke, please do get in touch. And how do they get in touch and what do they have to do, Flossie?
Well, if they take a screenshot of themselves in their cockpit to prove who they are and get in touch using I took part at huttonorbital.com email address and to claim and give those details of their postal address where it needs to be sent to, and it'll be sent off soon.
Yep. And they go out on a regular intervals. I did go into the secret cave of Hutton mugs over at the Hutton Postal Service when I was there and saw them all lined up on the shelf.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Oh, that many mugs. They were humming with this sort of energy sitting there on the shelf. Yeah.
Did you have to wear the special peril-sensitive sunglasses?
Yeah, there was a,
Oh, they were
there was
boxed.
the,
I wasn't allowed to
there was a
open
hauler
them.
sitting next to them. There was a hauler sitting next to them that was with the frame shift drive running. That's why they were picking up the vibrations.
Yeah, and the one left remaining Colonia mug as well.
One. Oh,
Yes, there's one left. Anyway, very appropriate for this week, given the week that I've had. We're going to go on to the word of the week. If I hand over to Commanders Chicks and the Apology Officer to introduce it.
Word of the week this week is ramfeazled, meaning exhausted from a hard day of work.
So if we were to put that into a sentence,
Certainly.
Vulcarius thought he was ramfeazled until Alex Zuno reminded him that he'd never done a hard day's work in his life.
Ramfeazled. How does one spell ramfeazled?
I am about to copy and paste
Carefully.
You're
ramfeazled
doing
into
it.
the. In fact, somebody
I'm
else do it, because I
feasled
can't
after
do
the day I've had.
it. No, I can't do it. I don't have the chat up for this. I'm too busy. I'm in rewards and
I'm
things
on
like
it.
that. So yeah, thank you.
Done.
So ramfeazled.
There we
Anyway,
go.
while we're doing that, why don't I entertain you all with a quick joke? What do you call?
We don't know, but you never seem to. So
Yeah. What do you call a space traveling anteater?
Jeff.
Yeah,
Dennis.
Jeff. Yeah,
Alan.
no, you're right. It's Jeff. It's a starvark.
Come on. Get on.
Aardvark!
Never
Right,
mind.
Aardvark!
Never mind all that crap.
Aardvark!
Where's this joke?
And yeah, on that small mammalian cringe, we're now
Come on.
going to go off to something far better, which is going to be Flossy.
Dare you?
How dare you? Yes, Flossy
Very dare you.
Yes.
and the CG News.
I'm ramfeazled.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. Last week there were no CGs, so nothing to report on there. This week we have 2 new CGs. Establish new Aegis scanner production and protect deliveries in RAB. Deliveries to the RAB system will help mass produce a pulse wave Xeno scanner which can analyse Thargoid Titans. Dr. Maximo Fonseca, the Allied Scientific Liaison to Aegis, outlined the initiative. The Thargoid capital ships, now designated as Titans, are the top priority for both military and scientific study. Reaching these gargantuan objects is hazardous since it involves travelling through the maelstrom's corrosive environment, avoiding hostile Thargoid vessels along the way. But even at close range, ship sensors have been unable to obtain meaningful data on their composition. In response, Aegis has fast-tracked a project to modify a Xeno scanner originally developed by Professor Ishmael Perlin. This adaptation utilises the electromagnetic technology found in pulse-wave analyzers, casting the scanner's range over a much broader area. Simulated tests show that the pulse-wave Xeno scanner should be able to identify points of interest on a Titan's hull. But the research effort requires as many pilots as possible to verify our findings out in the field. We are therefore gathering the supplies needed to manufacture the module in large quantities. Aegis will reward pilots who transport shipments of ceramic composites, polymers, gallium and indium, or who protect trade ships bringing vital commodities to Muller Terminal in the RAB system. If Tier 1 of the campaign is reached, the Pulse-Wave Xeno scanner will be made available at tech brokers on all rescue megaships. The top 25% of contributors will receive a free Pulse-Wave Xeno scanner, which will be placed in storage at Muller Terminal. The campaign began today, the 25th of May, and will run for 1 week. And if the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering ceramic composites, polymers, gallium and indium, or handing in bounty vouchers to Muller Terminal in the RAB system. Only bounty vouchers handed in after signing up will count towards your personal contribution total. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
And now we go over to the dolphins of news, using the information currents to traverse a galaxy of stories with effortless grace, occasionally sticking their heads up to squeak at us in an adorable fashion. It's Beetlejuice and Witherspoon with the Galnet News Digest.
Galnet News Update, 25th of May, 3309. Aegis plans to manufacture a new improved version of the Xenoscanner to find out more about the Thargoid motherships, and it needs your help. The Alliance's scientific liaison to Aegis, Dr. Maximo Fonseca, explained that after all that trouble getting through the Maelstrom's caustic cloud and successfully riding the massive energy pulse, it'd be quite nice if pilots were able to gather useful information about the Thargoid Titan hive ship that can be found inside. Existing composition and xenoscanners are ineffective when used on the Titan, which Fonseca described as a Thargoid capital ship. So Aegis has designed a modified version of Professor Palin's original xenoscanner, which should be able to identify points of interest on the outer skin of Titans. This will be their second upgrade to Palin's design. In January, Aegis released an enhanced version with a 2-kilometre scan range, far better than the original 500 metres. This third version of the Xenoscanner uses Thargoid pulse wave technology, which will allegedly give it a far larger scan area, while presumably also being tuned and refined to find the sorts of thing that might be interesting about the Titans. There are a number of interesting features already identified, including the large gateway filled with melted cheese that allows interceptors to enter and leave, smaller launch tunnels that occasionally disgorge scouts, heat vents, and a carapace with a variety of potentially interesting features. Almost as soon as the Titans were discovered, it was found that careful use of an abrasion blaster on the yellow, red and green surface defects that can be found near the small launch tunnels, the heat vents and on the top side carapace liberates hitherto unknown materials, including heat exposure specimens, phasing membrane residue and hardened surface fragments, all of which are likely to become valuable for research and development of new technologies in the coming weeks. It's surprisingly easy to collect such materials from the Titan without interference from scouts, hunters and interceptors. The Titan makes a low noise that sounds like it's enjoying being scratched. However, for the coming week, Aegis is wanting some rather more mundane commodities, namely ceramic composites, polymers, gallium and indium, and it wants them taken to Muller Terminal in the Raab system. It also wants bounty hunters to protect the traders there, and it will reward the top 25% of participants in both initiatives with a free pulse wave xenoscanner. Assuming the initiative reaches its base goal, the scanners will become available, presumably in return for some exotic materials, from all rescue ships shortly after the initiative ends on the 1st of June.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejuice and Witherspoon. Now for a change of pace, we go to the blobfish of news. Lurking in a corner with a face that looks like a 5-year-old started drawing it, got called in for tea and never finished it, it's over to Mia Harkness with the Hutton Helper results.
Welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free quarter bottle of Buckfast tonic wine. The Breakfast of Champions. This week we have the following events: the Somewhere Quiet for Piss Up Cup, the Recycling Your Empties Tournament, the Buckfast Milkshake Deja Vu Trophy, the Eropolis Charity Shield, the King William 1690 fortified wine versus Buckfast Off Your Face Spectacular, and a Wee Joe backs you up the road award. So, get your carry out for the offie. The Hutton Helper results are: Montgomery Python jumped 62,000 light years to come first in distance travelled, and then flew 33,000 light years to do it again. David Gerbelar sold 15,000 tonnes of cargo, and then Exilidan sold 21,000 tonnes. Rincewind Cymru is top mission runner with 183 mission points, and again with 458 mission points. Alex Zuno handed in 456,456,456 credits worth of bounties, and then handed in 555,555,555 credits worth of bounties. Cometborn handed in 558 million credits of combat bonds. For Lawless, with 2 L's at the start, handed in 688 million. And then Dark Virtual destroyed 553 Thargoids and came back and killed another 331. And then Nazgul delivered 2,278 people to their various destinations before picking up another 2,662 and doing it all over again. So, decals this week for David by Gerbelar, Exilidan, Aradish, not Aradish but Aradish for Cargo Bot, Okayam for Exploration Data Cached In, Kezenilik for Exploration Data Cached In as well. That was this week. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a bottle of soup, a permit to pish up a close, and a stoner supper. There have been 18 Hutton runs by 7 commanders in the last 7 days, or thereabouts. The Berk, who earlier won a Hutton mug, has done 2 runs, the fastest of which was 1 hour 23 minutes 24 seconds. Hi Joe B did 3 runs, and the best of those was 1 hour 23 minutes and 38 seconds. Enzro Wignut Pacado did their run in 1 hour 24 minutes and 9 seconds. Steve King did 2 runs, and the best of those was 1 hour 24 minutes and 14 seconds. Noddy Clone did a run of 1 hour 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Then Bandicoot did 1 hour 25 minutes and 6 seconds. And Torquay Mouse did 8 runs. The fastest of those was 1 hour 29 minutes and 4 seconds. There is a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing latibulated, desalinated, sugared, taken offline, exploded, launched, verified, motivated, evacuated, unfriended, ejected, manhandled or women-handled, smeared, yeeted, deflected, emphasised, fertilised, lasered in the face, snuffled, flip-flop, mistranslated to and from Spanish, chilled, mugged, ginned, wrapped up with a pretty bow, shipped, short, rescued, having their immersion ruined, battered and deep-fried, dead drop painted, rolled down a hill, destroyed, bought, phoned in, squeezed, inflated, patched, liquidated, evaporated, smelled, licked, discombobulated, recombobulated, head-butted, eviscerated, compressed, enveloped, strained, fermented, murderised with an S, interrobanged, upcycled, violently downcycled, disallowed, reallowed after consulting VAR, smelted, loved, dipped in lava, adored, cherished and propinated, and you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. To get involved, you just have to go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the spectacular Hutton Helper, available in 3 enduring formats. Let's face it, anything has to be better than finishing sober October and going straight into Can I Remember November. Anyway, that's it for me. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia. And now we go to Amelia Hawke for this week's Galnet Race Digest.
You are about to listen to Amelia Hawke. She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
Welcome, galactic gourmands and rare hunters, to a culinary exploration like no other. Unless you count all the previous reviews, as predictably this week's rare is both edible and dangerous. Today, we embark on a daring and delectable journey to the system Aten, where a particular and perilous delicacy awaits, the killer edible talking trioid. The trioid in various forms has been found on various habitable and some slightly less hospitable planets throughout the galaxy. To our knowledge, and consulting with Commander Witherspoon of the Galnet archives, he files it all under the Dewey Decimal System, so you don't have to. We've discovered 8 such planets across inhabited space. Exactly how the trees have propagated through interstellar space is unknown, but for those that have braved the dangers and chopped one down, then counted the tree rings and found some of the fossilized specimens, they predate human colonization by quite some margin. The trioids are innocuous in appearance, with wide-spreading branches, lush green foliage, though on some planets they appear to have evolved different colors to suit the local stars, wide-spreading root systems, and a gnarled bark that sheds regularly, revealing fresh wood underneath, which ages then falls as the seasons pass. They don't appear to dominate the landscape, and in fact can be found rarely dotted about forests, blending in with their surroundings in a highly effective manner. As they say, you can't see the wood for the trees, and in their case, you can't see the trioid for the forest. One of the remarkable features of the Aten edible talking trioid is quite how edible they are. The roots, when boiled, are a perfect staple to accompany fine roasts. The bark makes a delicious travel snack. The sap is sweet and sticky and not unlike the Canadian maple. The younger wood is soft enough to be served in steaks, the older wood grated over your foods to add a vibrant pungency. The leaves make a perfect peppery garnish for a salad, and the blooms have a fragrance that is quite out of this world. So, you'd expect with a single plant being this versatile and delicious that it would have fallen to predatory hungry animals early in its evolution. But this tree has a couple of highly evolved defensive measures. Before we investigate these, first, the Epicurean experience. The flavor of the killer edible talking trioid. I've been served an edible talking killer trioid. Tasting platter here aboard an orbiting beluga, and as you savor the first bite, a symphony of tastes cascades across your palate. The flavor is simultaneously sweet and tangy, with subtle hints of tropical fruits intertwined with floral undertones reminiscent of the most exotic blooms. The fruits possess a refreshing juiciness that bursts forth, invigorating your senses. It's an experience that transports you to the lush landscapes of Aten, where the trioids thrive. The versatility of the killer edible talking trioid extends beyond their taste alone. Discerning chefs have crafted a myriad of imaginative presentations and pairings to complement this celestial delight. Imagine a delicate salad adorned with the trioid's luminescent fruit, their soft glow reflecting off the fresh greens. Alternatively, a savory glaze made from their essence can adorn a succulent cut of interstellar game, creating a harmony of flavors that tantalize the palate. For the adventurous, mixologists have even concocted ethereal cocktails infused with the essence of the killer edible talking trioid. These libations dance on the edge of reality, captivating drinkers with their luminous hues and mystical allure. Sip slowly, and allow the intoxicating elixirs to transport you to a realm where the trioids sing their haunting melodies. This last part takes us into one part of their unique morphology and evolution, the talking bit. Early forest rangers from exploration trips reported that whilst on their forays into the dense foliage of the forests of Atten, they heard a whispering. Not a dangerous sounding whispering, but the sound of voices. Just quiet enough to not be able to make out the words, but clearly human in origin. Following the sound, they swore that as they got closer, they could hear singing and humming and music. But once again, not loud enough to make out the details. Then, as they approached the source, and just as they reached nearby earshot, a sudden shout of "Fuck off, you bastard!" A loud crack, and blam! A ton of overhead branches turned them from bipedal preambulatory humans into slightly squishy flat splodges on the landscape. Armed hunting teams were dispatched, sure in the knowledge that an unknown assailant was hunting them from between the trunks or high up in the boughs, but no one was found. They heard the whispering, they listened to the mesmerizing music, they heard the expletive, and every single time, reminiscent of a scene from Star Wars of his vicious little Ewoks smashing walkers, someone ended up as a spreadable on toast. Cue the running and the screaming, and from behind them, a mysterious giggling. Eventually, scientists and some extremely brave adventurers wearing hard hats and living on the edge of their nerves identified that it was these rare trees that were whispering and singing and swearing. And yes, as an unfortunate ventured near enough, the plant was drooping a limb from above, just the right size to turn people into Mr. Squishy. As for the giggling, that appears to be a signal to the other nearby trees that the danger has passed. After some careful foraging, returning for scientific study in the company of quite a number of caskets of fallen lumberjacks, scientists discovered the edible properties of the trees and put two and two together. They aren't luring you in to eat you or suck your vital fluids for their own benefit. These trees are hunting you, albeit without walking. The reverse stalking using sound gets you just near enough before crack, slam, one more threat removed. Studying chemical signals from the trees, the same scientists have determined that the trees make a perverse pleasure in whacking you over the head and sending you running. Signs near the trees say, "It's a killer tree. Try dynamite or a laser beam." Dangerous? Definitely. Whimsical and comedic in their method of attack? Positively. Delicious? Well, without a doubt. First, unveiling the danger. Their melodious whispers can both mesmerize and disorient. One must exercise utmost caution while venturing into the dense jungles of Atten, as the trioids can be quite defensive, luring unsuspecting explorers into their clutches. Where did they learn the bad language from? We can only assume it's from the noises put out by lumberjacks after a near miss. How do they sense approaching danger? It's assumed they detect the vibrations through the ground using their extensive root systems. Or maybe the breeze of you passing against their branches and bark. But their aim is uncanny. Once the fearless foragers have carefully navigated the perils of Atten's wilderness and identified a mature killer edible talking trioid, the harvesting process begins. Using ninja-like skills, distraction techniques involving lobbing heavy things in the opposite direction, and of course a steady eye on any part of the tree. With a single touch, the trioid radiant phosphorescent fruits are plucked, bark collected, sap dipped into jars, all whilst ensuring minimal harm to the organism. These mesmerizing fruit orbs are said to contain the essence of the trioids' vocal prowess, encapsulating the essence of their otherworldly communication. The rest is, well, it's just tasty. As we indulge in the exquisite pleasure that the killer edible talking trioids offer, let us not forget the importance of ethical consumption. Responsible sourcing and sustainable harvesting practices are paramount to ensure the preservation of this unique species. While Latin may seem abundant with these sentient wonders, we must exercise restraint and only partake in a manner that maintains the delicate balance of the ecosystem. That, and there's a lot of debate as to whether they're sentient, although that never seems to stop humanity when it comes to salivating over the next meal. During my perilous expedition to Aten, I had a close encounter with these captivating yet treacherous creatures. Accompanied by my trusty guide, Reginald, we ventured deep into the heart of the jungle, eager to discover the truth behind the trioid elusive nature. As we delved further into their territory, the forests seemed to come alive with a symphony of enchanting sounds. The air was thick with anticipation, and even Reginald, a seasoned explorer, could not resist the allure. Entranced by the trioid's whispers, he drifted closer, his eyes glazed over with a mixture of wonder and bewilderment. Even Reg, seasoned as he was, seemed in rapture to the trioid's call. He was used to hunting alone, not with a Galnet Rares reporter clumping along behind him in big hiking boots and swatting at the various insects attempting to access my vital fluids. As we approached what he said was an old tree, he kept turning around and saying, "What?" I tried reassuring him that I'd not said a word, but he swore I was muttering under my breath. We'd spotted the ancient trioid, a huge specimen with gaps in its canopy and large branches on the ground where it had taken out a passing squirrel after its nuts, or a curious badger. But it wasn't this trioid that surprised us. It was a sapling. Okay, so the trunk was 1.5 feet wide, but compared to the behemoth in front of us, this was a baby. Just as poor Reg passed, there was a crack and a splat. And that was the end of Reg. The whole sapling had thrown itself on him. I watched in horror as it enveloped poor Reginald, his cries muffled by the dense foliage. But its aim was true, and the trunk drove him like a spike into the ground when it hit. With a stroke of luck, or perhaps the trioid's capricious nature, I managed to free myself from the captivating hold just in the nick of time, dodge out of the way and not get any Reg on my nice hiking boots. Oh, and when it hit him, I distinctly heard the tree yell, "Take that, fucker!" This is Amelia Hawke, and I've now left the system, but I've dodged malicious swearing killer trees that taste so good, so you don't have to. And what's more, I've got a pot of the sap as a little grater with a bit of the bark. So next time I sit down for dinner and think of poor Reg, I can take a small measure of revenge on his behalf. Well, that was seamless.
Those trees are evil.
Evil?
Take that, fucker! Oh dear. Well,
They even hacked the script.
Yeah, yes. Well, we did send Eli along to find out some of the things they were saying, and he did get us a sound sample, or at least paraphrase what it was saying.
Fucking humans.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the tree says. You walk past, you know. Anyway, well, thank you, Amelia. I'm glad you dodged these trees that sort of gladly throw themselves at you. Take that, splat.
Tasty though, tasty.
Can you imagine just this little deer hopping through the forest, Bambi bounding through the forest, and all of a sudden the tree says, "Right, bastard, splat."
Poor old Reg.
Yeah, and they're not hunting you. This is the thing. It's not one of these ones that's trying to eat you like some of the plants you've tried, tackling in the past that sort of send vines out to try and eat you. They're just taking a perverse pleasure in squish.
Yep, in squish.
Yeah. And splat. I'm assuming they sort of root themselves when they land these branches as well. We've not investigated that bit, but yeah. Well, see, that one is one you can buy as well. This is a rare that you can't even buy. They're that rare.
Wow.
These are one of the rares that are listed in ancient catalogues back from the year 1984, I think, about systems. But yeah, the Aten system does exist, and the description does say that it contains killer edible talking trioids. So you never know what we're going to turn up next week. We haven't found the fat black felines yet. I shudder to think what's going to happen with those ones. But no, thank you once again. Right, it's that time of the show. Have we got anybody in the green room? I think we've got a couple of people in the green room.
We have a couple.
Yeah. Do we want to drag them in here rather than all of us run upstairs?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We've got a winner. Apology, officer. We have a winner in the green room too. They're cheering and clapping and running around with their shirt over their head at this very second.
Is that what that is? They really should pull that shot back.
Yeah, really.
That.
It's not. Whoa. We don't want to see that. No, really. Come on,
nobody needs to see that.
Yeah. Well, tell you what. Let's. Oh no, we've had one person go. Let's grab the three of them. I'm going to grab Kesnick. If somebody can get Aiden and Valkyrius and drag them in here. Here we go. We've got one of them, two of them, three of them. Now, before we start, can we please remind our green room guests to do the thing with the auto sound leveling bit? Otherwise, it's all going to go pear-shaped. So if you haven't been in here before, and I think Aiden and Valkyrius have, Kesnick, I think, also has. But if it suddenly gets really, really loud in your ears, you might want to go to Tools and Options and... go on, somebody help me here. Tools, Options, Playback, and turn off the auto voice volume leveling.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah, and as Valkyrius is here, we're going to have to ask Valkyrius, have you got the magic button of who talks to who?
To whom? And usually you guys do it, so...
Oh, I've been away for weeks and I've lost it. Hang on a second. It's here somewhere.
Incoming.
There we go.
We do not have a mug winner here. We do have a...
No, we have got a decal winner.
I got a decal winner, yeah.
Oh, Kesnick got excited about that. But first up, we've got... And obviously, the usual rules apply. If you've not got much to say for the mug and move on. But, Amelia, you're interviewing Valkyrius.
Actually, it's Chicks first.
Chicks first.
What? Oh, the top line. The little grey's not here.
Look at this. Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yeah, it always does that.
No, little grey's not here. Little grey had... Little grey is here.
Yes, yeah. I'm just trying to check him.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, Chicks, you're attacking Little Grey.
Little Grey's gone again.
No, he hasn't. I've dropped him in the wrong room.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I'm trying to scroll down, I can't.
He's in a cupboard looking at the wall going, why?
Where have you dropped?
Oh, there's the Little Grey.
There
we go.
Little Grey.
For a few seconds he was in Baz's banter bus. But...
Thank you. Can't say I've ever been in the banter bus before. So
yeah. Don't go up the back.
The banter bus is cool.
So, Little Grey, how are you? What have you been up to?
This evening I fired up Elite and I looked and decided that the CG was too far away, so I made a circuit board instead.
As you do.
That's what you meant by PCB. I thought you meant a polyphenol bicarbonate. Anyway. So. And what does this thing do?
It is, as I think I mentioned last time, it's one of those things that I'm just taking 10 minutes here and there to do, usually in not very exciting meetings at work. And it's going to be a control board. So you fancy hot ass joysticks and things. It's going to basically be something like that you sit next to your keyboard and you could do your frame shift drive, it'll do your select target, it'll do your landing gear, whatever things you want it to do.
I've got
have that with
fancy joystick for that.
Fancy flip switches on it.
It's going to be push buttons for Mark 1, but we'll see how we go.
Well, a lot of things in game, and I noticed I read in my bindings this week, require... Buttons are good for some things, but they require switches that slide or joysticks or something. And the game's quite fussy about which it allows you to use.
Yeah, there are a few. I do still have a throttle, so I typically will use that for most things. But actually, there isn't that many, unless you guys can tell me otherwise. Because I have got analog inputs I could play with, but I one thing at a time.
Yeah, there's an awful lot. If you think about Discovery Scanner, Full Spectrum Scanner, Camera Suite.
Yeah, Camera Suite's a biggie. Camera Suite's going to need its own
Galaxy
board.
Map. Systems map's not so bad because it's 2D, but Galaxy Map is 3D, so it's 5. That's before you've added in just flight controls. Then you've got thrusters.
There's a limit with. I don't know if it's with Windows or Elite or DirectX or what it is.
It's the game.
32
DirectX.
32 buttons.
Is it a 32 button thing?
So I have made a switchboard with 32 buttons on it, and if you need another one, well, you can have another one and just plug it in side by side.
Currently the 5th highest voted, most popular, however you want to call it, issue on the Elite Dangerous issue tracker.
Unfortunately, it's a DirectX limit, so there's not a lot Elite can do about it apart from skip DirectX and manually code all of the inputs for every single controller out there.
Yeah, apparently there's some workarounds that people talk about, but I don't want to. It's a pain in the ass to do it once, so I've done it now.
I've never looked into, or rather, I have looked into and went, nah, stuff that. I don't use that many inputs, and I've got a keyboard. So I went down that route mostly, and I could have done that for this. But then if you have to then keybind each button to a letter, every time you can't customize it for each person.
It's just hard work with a keyboard, because if it's not intuitive...
Yeah.
I mean, W, A, S, and D are reasonably intuitive because you do it for other stuff. But like, where are your ship lights? You go, is it L?
Well, yes, because it's obvious.
And then you
then
start
your landing gears next to it, and you hit them both.
But your on-foot torch, is that L or is it T?
That's T.
Yeah, well, I know it is, but
same as it's N for night vision.
The point is, when somebody's yeeting grenades at you, and you go, "Where's my shield grenade thingy?" And I go, "Oh shit,
that's on Y for yeet."
Yes, that's performance under pressure. That's what that is.
Well, I know, but anyway, it's easier with. Oh, that's squeeze my left little finger. It's there.
This is kind of what I'm working with. I got fed up of trying to remember what I set my keybinds to on the wiki board. But my point was, I was trying to say, you can easily make a keyboard, and then you could print what it is on the circuit board to say what it is. But then it means you've got to rebind, and if you've got your keyboard and your button board, if they don't agree with each other, Elite gets cross.
Now, has this got little plastic covers? The buttons are backlit. They've got little plastic covers that you can slide something underneath that tells you what the button is. And when you press it, it illuminates more brightly.
I want to show
that is my keyboard.
Sorry, that's the specification.
That could be a one-day specification, but no, at the moment it's going to be just your normal clicky buttons, which you can actually put a label in, but I'm going to make another circuit board that will sit slightly offset above it to hide all of the other connections underneath.
With programmable colours.
Well, you could theoretically change the text on it. So
he's being evil. A scope creep. There's definitely a scope creep going on here.
No. I'm looking at mine now, and that's what it does.
Yeah. Because there's lots of money in research and development time, and I have got none
Have you thought of putting a little OLED display behind each button as well that you could program? Then you could call it something like a streaming deck.
I'm a hardware guy. I don't know how to do the software bit. This is the bit that's probably going to cripple this project. So if anybody does know how to do a button matrix inside of a Raspberry Pi Pico, please let me know, because I've got no clue.
Flossy might know somebody, don't you, Flossy?
I may know somebody.
Yeah, you may know somebody called Robbie Wrongway. Or yes, yeah. Or I might lend a hand. I might lend a hand if you want as well. We'll have to talk offline about it.
The
Yeah,
last
yeah.
green room turned into gardener's question time. This one's turning into programmer's question time.
I'm afraid he's out at the pub at the moment. So.
Stack Overflow.
Yes.
But yeah, that's basically me, and I've been generally thinking with the team about ECM and how we can make sure we all hear each other. I just need to make a list of what we've
I've got a
said
box
and
of goodies for you.
do let me know what it is before I start printing things.
Yeah, no. I'll now that I'm back from work, I'm actually back all next week, and I will pull the box out and I'll photograph everything and let you know what's there, including the radio mic and the induction loop and all of that bit. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, that'd be cool. And yeah, otherwise, printer's ticking on in the background doing the odd little thing now again. I have a little Type 7 sat on my desk, which is very nice. So I tend to get smaller board game sized pieces and maybe give those out as part of the raffle in little sets. But again, if people are of the tabletop gaming fraternity, let me know what they need to be, because I've never played them, and I think I might make ECM my opportunity to do so.
If you look up Firefly the board game miniatures, you'll see the dimensions of starships that are used in board games.
Yeah, Amelia's our resident expert in such things.
Shit. Scarlet Crate.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Amelia's our...
If it doesn't tell you, then just let me know, because I'll dig out my box and see how big they are.
You do what?
What we need is a board game version of CQC, complete with the little tokens you can pick up to get your speed boost. That's what you need.
Now there was something I remember from the last ECM at the venue we're at now, or will be.
Yeah, that's Colin's miniatures game, isn't it?
Which will be there?
That was elite based, was it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I had in mind when I was thinking about printing these things. So I if they're broadly the same size, then it could work really well.
Well, we'll have to. We can talk to Colin, and he can let you know dimensions of what's used in his game. But he will be bringing it along as well, so you have a chance to sort of sit down with Colin and talk miniatures.
He probably has one of these machines himself, but I feel like I'm talking far too much, and I will continue these conversations on the Discord. So I will say, for the mug, who's next?
Hello, Vulcarius.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, doing quite well. So what happened last week? Because there was only really one seam last week, like a really, really big seam.
the one where no one was here.
We think what it was is that Sean Pond wanted his record back for the shortest show of all time.
Oh, right. So he was the only one in Studio 5.
Yeah,
and
he locked us all
beat
out.
all of your times with 0 seconds. Got it.
Yeah.
And he's currently the record holder again.
A Grand Canyon-sized seam, I think, would be the scale I might go with.
Yeah, down that Palantir. I've got a question for Little Grey. Did you hear about the old trucker?
No, I didn't.
Well, you might want to know. So, you see, an old trucker who caused animosity wrote Amphigory and spoke fabulosity. His pal tried to ban it, but was Calsara can it, so he yeeted it with high velocity.
My gosh.
So now you know about the old trucker.
See, I know the coffee
Did
one,
someone
but I
write
feel like
that
I'm
down?
stealing someone else's slot.
Yeah. You mentioned yeet earlier. I thought you might like that. In any case, yeah, so I'm still defending the fragment cannons out of humanity here. And actually, I quite enjoyed the last couple of weeks after the patch.
Yeah?
Because, we had our best week yet, which was actually 59 systems, not 55, as Atris has misinformed you. But I can reveal that 15 of those systems were all us, and but thanks to those new Odyssey missions, to run out there and switch those bases off and on again. So just commanders at large are actually making really good progress in some populated systems.
Nice.
Not enough to win. Go on, sorry.
I just said nice.
Yeah, not enough to win them, at least not at the moment. but it does take the edge off, because normally taking those systems, it leaves us kind of ramfeazled. So that notion is it's normally a bit of a velleity, so it needs a bit of a crazier to take them on, I would say. But this lets us, like, if they give us a bit of progress, it lets us drop in there and finish it within a relatively sociable evening. So we in addition to clearing out 15 empty systems, we also recaptured HIP 16 something or other. Or is it
Or is it HIP?
Yeah. So commanders gave it 20% or so. But then the part I really like, just the other day, we were in MCC 105, which is a bit closer into a maelstrom. So it's a bit more difficult to win that one.
Why does that system name ring a bell?
Well, it was recaptured, I suppose, but. Or have you encountered it before? MCC 105?
It sounds very familiar.
Well, in any case, those on-foot commanders got it to something like 35%. Then Imperial Navy Intervention Rescue gave it a 40% push. And if you remember Stellar Nebula Project from a few weeks back in the news, they gave it another 25% or so, which is great. We even had a commander ask us for carrier access to drop off some extra samples, and together we all took it. It was great teamwork. I'd say great experience.
Nice.
Yeah, we drop in there, we snag a Thargoid, probinate it until we're over our corrosive capacity, Guardiloo the excess samples, then give them one more full round of probes so we can jump out just with a titty note more. So Tharg is getting probinated, discombobulated, murderized with an S and a Z, manhandled and woman-handled. I would say. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to deal with the penguins in MCC 105, though. So if you have anyone available, that system does still need to be unpenguinated.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, everyone.
Yeah. Question for you, though. So have you seen the different the list of different types of Titan things you can sell at a megaship or at a carrier?
No. Do you have a list? Is it a big list?
No, it's only a few. So you just drop if you just check your carrier's commodities or check a megaship, I suppose. But either way, in the list of things are Titan partial tissue sample, Titan deep tissue sample, Titan more tissue sample, Titan more deep tissue sample, Titan more partial tissue sample, and Titan tissue sample. So the plain one, I guess. So if we're getting a Titan scanner from Aegis, that sounds like those samples come from using the different mining stuff, like the explosives and the drill missiles.
I do like explosives.
So I think we'll need miners. We'll need to get miners like you in there.
Okay, challenge accepted.
I'm pretty. That sounds like it comes from mining. I think you're up.
See, the thing is, I don't do much of the Thargoid stuff. I'm more for the Zen mining experience. My main enemies are rock and ice.
Well, you heard War the Jude and Beetle Spoon. When you mine the Titan, it sounds like it's scratching its back.
Pet Titan.
To be fair, Zen mining is only one letter away from Xeno mining.
That is very true. Well,
that's clever.
Away.
Well, I wish I'd thought of that.
It's 2 letters away.
Yeah, but it sounds better with one.
And in essence, you got to add 2 letters and take away one of the letters. So it's getting further and further a stretch, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of like it's almost like a spelling error in an anagram.
Hey, I'm dyslexic,
I'm
so
getting news
all
for you
anagrams
there.
are a spelling error.
Exactly, they're all spelt wrong.
No, I mean, if they're actually going to have this thing where you're able to mine the Thargoids, I'm going to have to check that out.
You can already use the surface one, the abrasion one. But it just looking at the names of those, I reckon that we'll need to use the drills and the seismic charges and such.
Interesting.
Anyway, an anagram spelt wrong is groan.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
how are
go on.
you?
Quite well, I suppose. I mean, it's getting a bit samey, I suppose. I kind of get into the sample cutter, drop in a system, probe the Thargoid. Like that's kind of all we're doing at the moment.
Don't you find that very, zen? The whole repetitiveness and chill of space, and
I would
you're in the
imagine.
void.
I would imagine it's more
well,
zeal than Zen.
not really, but we do take pot shots at scouts.
Ah.
So when they go
So-
pop, it's quite satisfying.
So, do you usually have one ship that goes in and collects while several protect it?
Oh no! So you get a whole wing full of cutters. You just get Imperial cutters.
Yeah.
You put the big shields if you got them, and various boosters, and you take some regeneration beams. So you can just sit in a circle with regen beams going. Then you. This is in flux a little bit. We had a little bit of advice from what Stellar Nebula Project found, is that actually you can do it with scouts just as effectively as with a Cyclops. But in any case, what we have been doing is with a Cyclops, we drop, we find a planet like where you can land. We don't land, we drop like just above where you glide. We need basically get low enough that you don't get a swarm. Then you wait for a Cyclops, and then when someone gets a Cyclops, you all pile in, and then you just all probe the Cyclops while regenerating everyone's shields in a circle.
He chose Noah, a righteous and
And the good thing about having, if you've got...
Sorry, I'm trying to stop myself from saying something that I really shouldn't
We
say.
know
on the-
exactly
on the-
what you're going to say.
similar to, but also different
So
from
if you've got at least 3 commanders, so the trick is, well, half the efficiency is keeping the Cyclops around, which obviously one commander can keep it around, but then you've got no regeneration. So you need 2 for regeneration and keeping it around, which means if you've got 3, so one commander can go back to the carrier, then that's one of the more efficient ways to do it. You always have 2 at the planet and one taking samples back to the carrier. Whereas, we've got a little trick now for if we're going to do a scout run. We have a way to get only scouts and not an interceptor, which is not technically true. Actually, the interceptor's 20 kilometers away, but we've got a little thing we can do to get just scouts on us. So, which means we can just drop anywhere. We don't need to worry about swarms then. So we'll be clearing systems that way for the moment.
I got my confidence back.
That sounds really cool.
3, he had a positive impact on my relationship. 4,
So, anything else you'd like to add?
And number 5, I saved money.
No, yeah, I'll just, well, if there were, I've talked for a while, I'll just go with that, I think. Thank you all for the show. Hail the Empress, and for the mug.
For the mug.
Thank you very much. And Commander Aiden, are you there?
Hello.
Oh, he's got his head in the bucket. Hang on a second. Turn you up a tiny bit. How the blazes are you, Commander Aiden?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Oh, not bad, not bad. But I'm at the end of this list. I'll do my bit at the end. So, what you been up to? Anything fun?
Well, I was down your neck of your home base last weekend, and out on the water. I'll be doing the same again this weekend. And then I've got a week of being down at the parents, sort of starting the 11th of June or thereabouts that weekend.
Taking some time away from stick time and floating in boating and then yes, eating all the food in the parents' house.
Well, it's more looking after the parents.
Right.
Rather than anything else. But yeah, I mean, I've not got much stick time recently, largely because I'm just taking a break, I suppose.
Oh, you're just waiting until we've got all the guns, and then you can come in with the big medical freighter and give him a dose of what's good for him at the Titan.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things. I've been half tempted to try some of the on foot anti-Thargoid stuff, but
That's
just
very
haven't gotten
good.
around to it really.
That is very good.
Oh yeah, so some of the pictures we've seen from that are spectacular. It's
I
a bit
got
more of a
lasered in the
challenge.
face.
You got what?
Yeah.
Flying Thargoid poo in the face?
Yeah, I got lasered. No, I got lasered in the face.
lasered.
Flying
Oh.
Thargoid
They
came later-
shot
came later.
him in the face.
Oh right.
Shot me in the face.
Well, not me, but
Yeah, just be
other
careful.
than that, life continues. The Legend of the Five Rings campaign had its first fatality this last game.
Rolled a natural 1.
No, not in the slightest. Big Bad kicked off kicked off a fight with a. If I win a contested roll by a point, by enough of a margin, you're dead. However, Big Bad didn't quite realise. Oh yes, you're actually got a degree of destiny. So the various shenanigans means that option 1, it sort of works, but not really. It strips a few bits off of you. Option 2, there's room in this grave for you.
Ah, right. So they're that old adage of never split the party unless you're the big bad, in which case you can split them in half quite easily.
Well, it was more the party wasn't split. It was the Big Bad went, I'm going to use a big cannon to start things off. And my member of the party went, okay, you're using the big cannon. I'm reflecting it back at you. So one member of the party down, but the Big Bad also went, oh, ow, that's smart. I'm going to fall over now.
Yeah. Oh, they do that when you reflect their big stuff back at them. But well, sounds like you're having fun with that bit as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it really. No.
Well, ping me as and when you or to remind me, because I wasn't counting the dates well enough as to when you're down this neck of the woods, and we'll have to go and find a local watering hole and enjoy a bevy.
That sounds like a great idea. I will definitely ping you when I am down for looking after the parents. But yeah, other than that, it's just for the inestimable mug.
For the mug.
And now it's me. How are you doing, Kesnick?
Not too bad.
Good. You been doing anything interesting?
It depends what you find as interesting. I've actually been spending a lot of time still stuck around Sagittarius A. I can't seem to escape the black hole.
Oh dear. Is it pulling you in?
Yes, I think I'm stuck in its gravity field.
Yeah. It's certainly a big thing, isn't it?
It certainly is. But,
well, that
but on
sucks.
the plus side, it does. But yeah, on the plus side, while I'm there, I'm just scanning all the flowers and trees and things like that. And Vista Genomics like to pay me a lot of money for it.
Nice. I'll have to go out and do some myself sometime. Yeah.
I even won a sticker this week.
All right. Yeah.
You did win a sticker.
I won a sticker. Brilliant.
Get me an email in and I'll get it sent to you.
Not a problem, Mia. I'll send it you in.
Fire it in and I will get you. I can send it straight to you. We don't need to wait on anybody else. Once I know it's you, you'll have your sticker.
I'm definitely me.
Okay, that's fine then.
Or you were when you woke up this morning.
Confirmed.
Well, yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, and of course the Hutton decal kit, as described this week by the apology officer, consists of. Do you remember what it was? That's the thing.
I do. I can remember at least two of the things.
It was a bottle of soup.
A bowl of soup, which is the name for that's the slang name for a bottle of Buckfast. Permit to pish up a close, which is I'll pass that to you. You have permission to pish up a close somewhere, and a stoner supper. Apart from the colloquial local language version of what stoner is, the actual thing is a pork sausage wrapped in kebab meat, battered and deep fried, and because it's a supper, you get chips with it.
That sounds so Scottish.
Yes, it is.
I'm hungry now.
And it looks suspiciously like a Hutton decal as well.
It looks suspiciously like what chicks blasted onto the surface of Eden earlier.
Only with a couple of Scotch eggs.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there was a lot of Buckfast consumed last week then.
It was was it National or World Buckfast Day at one point? And we just went for that and went, oh, okay, World Buckfast Day. That'll do. Galactic Buckfast Day then. So, yeah. I don't even drink.
I don't even know what it is.
If you smell Buckfast, you
So,
don't understand
Flossy,
why.
you don't know what Buckfast is? Well, there's a mission for ECM.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I'm bathed in some or something.
That was a homemade stuff. That was your bathtub Buckfast. If I can steal my nerve and actually go into an off license and buy it, I will bring you some to try.
Why?
Does it not come out of the taps in Glasgow then?
No, we don't have taps.
it
What's
tastes
wrong
good.
with you?
Yeah, they've got wells. They just plunge the bucket in to get,
No,
some old Buckfast.
the taps of whiskey and iron brew. You can't have a third tap on your sink. That would look weird.
Whiskey and iron brew. Mm-mm.
So no, I should bring some. Are you going to?
I am.
ECM?
Yeah.
What about you, Kesnick? You going to ECM?
I can't make this one, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yes,
Right,
work commitments.
That's okay. I'll drink your share for you, or Flossy will.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have actually tried
if it. Tastes all right.
Have you? I've never tried it. Is it? I've heard it's very sweet and syrupy.
It's very sweet and very, very potent.
Yeah, a bit like cough mixture. Yeah, well, it's a fortified wine.
I'm in.
It's like cough medicine.
Yeah, it's made by the
ECM.
monks. It's made by the monks of Buckfast Abbey.
Oh.
Well, I've been to the Abbey.
Mm.
I've been to the butterfly farm there,
I've been to the off license.
the otter sanctuary.
The Otter Sanctuary. Oh,
Yeah, in
Otter
Buckfast.
Sanctuary.
I ought to go there.
Oh,
Oh, no.
There's
that's
a
it.
video on my YouTube of that I took when I was at the otter sanctuary and the otters kiss.
Oh.
It's very adorable.
Okay.
And then you
That
yell,
sounds
get a
nice.
room, you two.
Yeah.
I didn't know Amelia was an otter spotter.
She's a water.
What a
Not an otter spotter.
Not an otter spotter.
I will tell her that
otter
much.
seen an otter spotter.
Right, we're back on
I'll do that. I'll
track.
fucking do that.
back on track. You were grilling
Right.
the Kesnick.
Kesnick. Oh, yes. So,
Yes.
Where were we?
Where were we? I forgot.
Still stuck at
Where did you go?
Sagittarius A.
Oh, that's right. You're Sagittarius there, aren't you? That big hole in the middle. So.
How do you plan on getting out? That's the important question.
I don't actually know if I want to.
Oh, right.
It seems
Yeah.
safer. The flowers round here
I must
don't want to
admit-
kill me.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan.
Well, not yet. I ran over some Frutexa the other day, and it might be a little bit angry.
Oh.
Especially if it's like those trees that Amelia's been playing with in the last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was skirting around on my SRV on one planet, and I ran into a tussock that decided it was going to flip me.
Oh, nice one.
So I couldn't drive over it. It was a brick wall.
A flipping tussock.
Yeah, they're
But
dangerous,
yes.
those things, those tussocks.
Mm.
Yeah, they can be. They can be. Lots of spiky little pointy bits.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yes, that's me. So I will
Right.
just say for the mug, and thank you very much for the show.
No, well, thank you for joining us.
you for the mug.
Right, Litho, quiz the apology officer about anything new.
So, Mia, spotted any good otters recently?
No, I haven't spotted any otters.
Not a
But
lot
how
of
many
otters.
An otter spot a good spot?
4?
Probably.
Yeah.
So, what's new with you?
I have had a go since update 15. I've not had a lot of time playing the game, to be honest, but I did manage to get in and have a go at these on foot Thargoid power up missions.
Oh yeah.
They're a lot of fun. They genuinely are a lot of fun. I know, Loose Knockers, he likes to fight his way in and fight his way out, but I was sneaking because I just wanted to see if I could, because I'm a bit scared of them.
Yeah, but I think Loose Knockers misunderstood and tried to power up the Thargoids, and when he
Yeah.
shoved the power controller in the wrong place, they got upset with him. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've managed to sneak in and power up a few bases and things like that, and it's quite good fun. But you really need to be
Nice one.
careful because you need to be careful where they go. And I would advise getting a suit with soft. Was it soft?
Quiet footsteps.
Quiet footsteps, and definitely night vision. Because with night vision, you don't need to put a torch on, so you're much less visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great fun, absolutely brilliant fun. And I mean, you have done a lot of kind of power up missions, so it adds a new wee dimension to power up missions as well.
Mm.
And then I met people last week, and then I did stuff last week, and that's me. And for
You
the
met
mug.
people and you
I
did
met
stuff
people.
and missions. Wow. Busy week.
Yeah. I met them and went for food. I met Vantian and Psycho Cow and Symouth.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't worry, you will get over it with a couple
It was
of weeks
worth it. It
of
was
rest
worth
and
it.
recuperation.
It was worth it for the food. It really was.
For the hoverboard.
Good.
Yes, and the hoverboard was the night before, so we didn't have to
Yeah.
carry it through food.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it would have done because it would have done me as a wee side table. But yeah, the hoverboard's lovely. I just need to speak to someone and find the best way to hang it on the ball now. But I know somebody that I can go to for that.
Nice.
So that's me. It's just a for the mug.
For the mug?
The mug.
So, Amelia,
Hi.
explain yourself.
Well, for the past, 10 minutes or so, I've been researching the best size for little greys miniatures. And I have determined that 28 millimeters to 32 millimeters are the average.
I am literally writing these down right now.
In Firefly, the Serenity is it's all four ships, and then you get the what's the Navy ship, the police ship, Interdictor or something.
The Interceptor.
Interceptor, yeah. I can't think there are any others.
Yeah, there's
There's
like
the Reaver as well.
Yeah, there's the Reavers. You have the big Alliance capital ship. You have the Interceptor, which is the bounty hunter ship. You have the
In the board game.
This is the board game, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You have
ago.
like 4
Yeah,
different
very well.
Fireflies to
Yeah.
choose from. Serenity is one of them. But then there's extra Fireflies, like the larger Firefly class. You have special ones called, there's like Jet Wash. There's
It's maybe been updated because I
the
don't recall any of
Esmeralda.
that.
Well, no, they're all expansions.
Ah, got you that there.
And then you also have the junk dealer who dismantles other ships
Hmm.
and collects their parts for selling on.
Got you. It's been a while since I
But
played that.
they've got a revamp coming. They're re-releasing it with all of its expansions
Ooh.
for a
in
limited
long-
time. I think it's like in a few weeks actually it gets
Okay.
released. And yeah, I think you have to pre-purchase it or something.
I think somebody got tired. I won, I think, 5 games in a row one night, and don't think we played it much after that.
I'm surprised you managed 5 games in one night. It takes me a whole day and night just to get through one game.
Well, it might have been 5 games on the trot, and then we stopped playing it after that.
I was going to ask what's the playtime.
I'm getting dirty looks here.
That depends. the playtime can be as quick as a couple of hours, but we've had games that just don't end.
Yeah.
There's a few missions that just they don't end until the group decide that one person has won, which of course never happens.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's a great
one of
game.
those, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun.
But yeah, I mean, 28 millimeters to 32 millimeters are the standard, the average.
And are these printed
Are they to
all
scale?
white metal?
They're resin.
Okay, so they're
I think the ones in the Firefly game are like 28 millimeters, but on average, most board games have 28 millimeters to 32 millimeters. Obviously, the bigger that you make them, the more detail you can put in them. But they also did, on Firefly, they also did like box sets of the miniatures themselves. So you could actually paint your own miniature in the colors that you want. And
Yeah, quite a few board games you can buy white metal miniatures and then, as you say, paint them up too.
Yeah. So you can have your own Firefly.
Rather than the just coloured plastic ones.
Yeah, Little Grey, the relative scale tends to depend on the style of the game. If it's just a marker to indicate your position within the board or the universe, they're not usually to scale. If it's an active combat game, then scale often matters for line of sight and things like that, so then they usually are.
I think that makes sense. I guess it's a case of how much to scale if you've got a T7 and a T9, because the T9's flat and round, it'll print quite differently, but under the 32 millimeter, and arguably the T7 will look chunky and the T9 will look like a dinner plate.
Yeah, and then you try using an Apex Taxi and you realise you've got something that's sort of 2 mil long.
Yeah. Do we actually have the actual scales of the miniatures?
Oh, we know the relative scales of the ships, yes.
Wait, sorry, the ships. Yeah. If you know the scales of the ships, you can always do it 1/285th of the size of the actual ship.
Why that?
Because that's what the average modern combat miniature is. So if you've got tanks and stuff, or, armies on a miniature scale for a board game or whatever, it's usually 1/285th. The size of whatever it is.
Who decided that, I wonder?
It's probably based on a 28 mil miniature for your...
The thing is, it's different. If you're doing naval combat, it's 1/600th the size. If you're doing railroad, it's 1/220th of the size.
Yeah, naval, I used to do 1 to 1200. So you get more sea.
Ships are a lot bigger than tanks.
Yeah. 00 scale is 176.
I'm desperately trying to think what my old Airfix
is. 007 6'2".
It depends on the manufacturer.
If you Google board game miniatures size, you get all this detail.
Then you get into the 00HO dilemma.
Oh no, don't even.
But yeah, I mean, aside from all of that, my week has been looking after Sandrine with her burnt foot. So it's not been much of a week.
Well, the thing is, if you're doing to 1 to 285, then the Anaconda would be 0.7 meters long, though. Just checking.
Yeah, maybe not.
ED ships are
what about 1/600?
Scary big.
A third of that, then approximately. Oh, half of that, then. Yes.
Still,
it's still 30 centimeters long for an Anaconda.
Yeah.
Well, the T7 I've got on my desk is 8 centimeters long, so it's basically not big enough or too big for a board game, but kind of a bit too small to sit on pride on your desk. It looks cool though.
Well, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will leave it at that and say for the mug.
For the mug.
Is it me?
No, it's Banter and Flossy.
Oh, hello, Flossy.
Hello.
What have you been up to? Who have you panned this week?
Not panned anyone.
Solved.
Yeah, okay. I've not done anything in Elite, I'm afraid, this week.
Ah, well, maybe next week. Or take part in the CG.
I might. Well, I don't know. It's with the Thargoid thing. I don't know.
No, it's just transporting common or garden goods on this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned trucking.
I might do it, but it's for a Thargoid weapon thing, isn't it? However, so I'll see.
All right.
But I've been playing the other game that I play.
The other one, yes, the one with the pandas in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yes. Not the Aardvarks.
No.
They haven't done an Aardvark expansion yet. You should suggest that they do an Aardvark expansion.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Aardvark Warlocks.
They're getting there. They've got mole people now.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah, they have, yeah. In this underground place. Oh, goodness. Actually, I haven't been in much of the later area this last week or so. I've been leveling all the lower characters. So.
What happened to the good old days of just your elves and dwarves and halflings and humans and that's it, you know?
I know I came across somebody from a guild I used to be in, and he always plays a tank. And
he's a mole man now.
He always used to advise me on where to put my talents and stuff like that. And anyway, I hadn't seen him since, well, I left that old guild after an argument with the guild master because she wanted to go raiding and I didn't. But because I'm a healer, I didn't realise the impact it had on the guild. Apparently, they didn't do much after that because they had no healer.
Yeah, I was the opposite, as I remember. I did want to go raiding, and so I did, and made loads of progress. And they were making progress outside the guild, and I did, and then they were a healer down as well. So yeah, but this was many years ago.
Oh yeah, this was actually. I've been playing on my own since. So
this was pandas years ago.
Oh, I think it was even before the pandas.
Yeah.
Because
anyway,
yeah.
And anything else to add?
Don't think so. I might do this CG this week. I'll see how I get on.
Yeah, well, we'll see you in the top tables next week, and maybe you'll earn your Hutton decal for yet another commander.
Yeah. I'll have to find one who hasn't got one first. I don't think there is. Anyway, okay then. Well, for the mug.
Right. Is it me now? Is it me?
Yeah, it's you.
Yay! Chicks, how you doing?
Very good.
Excellent. Anything to add?
I'm just coming into this planet. So,
oh dear.
So I'm coming in. It's about to go into glide. No, I've been
gliding.
Busy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sitting astride a massive gun, just like Cher.
Well, I wasn't sat aside. I was standing on top of it.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, the 153 pounds was 153 kilos, which of course is the Mark 8-inch naval gun.
Oh, was it an 8-inch naval gun? Oh,
no. We've got 6s, which are it's a 100-weight shell.
Is that the Mark 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 112-pound. It's a 100-weight. So it's 51 kilos anyway.
Oof. Still going to ruin your day if it lands on you.
Well, they used the shell room in a. It was on BBC, and I can't remember which series it was, and they had some young man in there pretending to be an HMS Exeter, which of course was an 8-inch cruiser, and he's humping the shells off the shell carousel onto the hoists, and of course, one, they're made of fiberglass.
Yeah.
Because they're dummies. And the other one, he's supposed to be an HMS Exeter, and he wouldn't be doing that with a 153 kilo shell.
No.
Anyway.
Not unless he was the Hulk.
No. So 2 weeks ago, we were shut for an entire day, and they put green screen on the inside of all the bridge windows, and they were filming in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Cavill was there, the actor.
Was he? Superman?
Yeah.
And The Witcher?
But I don't know what the film was. I don't know what they were making. But they had there were various bits of the ship on Wednesday, and then the whole of Thursday the ship was shut, and they were filming. So we'll have to
But
wait
they
and
don't
see.
need an oily man in overalls to walk around with a bit of
rusty
steel
man in
wool hanging out
overalls.
his- bit of steel wool hanging out his chin.
Well, no, I'm in summer rig now, so the
It'll be
overalls.
the mystery of ungentlemanly warfare, I'd imagine.
The overalls are rolled up in a.
I was going to say that. Is that the overalls with the shorts?
Well, they are shorts and a polo shirt.
Yeah, look, it looks like here we go. Yes, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. British military recruits a small group of highly skilled soldiers to strike against Nazi forces behind enemy lines during World War II. Could it be that?
Oh, is that Henry Cavill?
Yes, as a Guy Ritchie film.
It could be, but I'm wondering why would you be on the bridge of a cruiser?
I don't know.
Don't know. Could be.
I mean,
don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know,
Depends what
television
role
or-
he's playing as well. I mean, if he's
Yeah.
the main character in it, it sounds like possibly he's on the bridge to speak to somebody.
Don't know.
Maybe the
We
captaincy
get a
chop is
lot
offering
though.
that
It's
corner.
it varies. They want to use various bits to film, and
Yeah.
we get the no noise. Oh, shit, how am I supposed to get?
There's you with
rust
with a
toffee
big
hammer.
rusty spanner and yes, clanging away.
A Mark 23 naval gun in one hand and a spanner in the other, going, but.
Yeah, I know. It gets a bit restrictive on the odd occasion. Usually when there's a conference or something in a particular one of the big company areas.
No.
No noise. Oh shit. So define noise.
Yes.
You're in London.
Test
yes.
firing a 6-inch gun count.
Yeah.
Well,
no noise. Well, you just shouted, so you know.
Simulated fire. We had one cool thing the other week though. Over the coronation weekend,
Yes.
we had 34 Dunkirk little ships.
Oh, I
in
saw them on the
Catherine's Dock.
telly, yeah.
And the lock at St Catherine's only opens. It's open, or rather, it's in operation 2 hours either side of high tide. So I was packing up one day, and sort of, I think it was 6 or 8 of them must have come out of the lock together, and they all poodled up the river together, as all flying the little Dunkirk jacks, as they're known.
That's another word that needs to be used more, along with yeeted.
What?
Poodled, yes.
And we've got a Finnish mine layer alongside at the moment.
No.
So the Finnish
A modern one.
Well, but it was built in
Well, a mine layer, it shouldn't be really.
Well,
should it?
she was commissioned in '92. She had a major refit in 2006. So she's in
That's
good
pretty
nick.
modern,
She's well
yeah.
looked after when you, apart from a couple of big dents in the side. But
So you're going to try pronouncing the name of it.
Harmonima.
Harmonima.
Oh, that is relatively
Harmonima.
easy, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of those. Home port is a mouthful as well. It's like,
And the French minesweeper across to the south also has been up and about.
yeah, she was there the week before. She was still there on Saturday. In fact, they wanted to stay an extra day and they couldn't. They weren't allowed to because the
Did
Finns
you say the Finnish one was a sweeper or a layer?
were mine layer.
Yeah.
So she's got 150 mines. It was brilliant actually because yesterday they were setting up for they were having their big do, their sort of big import do. So they'd set up some sort of like what are those things you put over a barbecue?
Hood.
I can't remember the name of it. No, over the top of a barbecue, not a
Steak?
Not a pergola. The sort of structure to keep the sun
Awning?
off. Or like an awning. On a boat we call it a bimini, but anyway, put the
Gazebo?
yeah, that kind of thing. So they have
That's
one of
what I
those on the after deck, which is sort of a big flat like a helicopter deck. And when they came into port, I noticed they had a mine, with the horns sticking out of it on the back of the ship, and the it's like an old type, Second World War type mine.
Yeah.
And then I was watching him getting ready for this do, and the mine sort of opens up, like a cocktail cabinet open, like the globe opens at the top, and these hydraulic arms come up and they start filling it with ice and putting the beers in it.
Only in Finland, yes.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, they came along with 10 cases of beer and started filling it up with ice. It was the beer cooler. Right.
That's fantastic.
Well, it is fitted with one 57mm dual-purpose gun, two
Bofors.
12.7mm machine guns, one 8-cell surface-to-air missile launcher, two anti-submarine rocket launchers, two depth charge rails, and 150 sea mines.
Imagine that going over the side and somebody realising what it was.
She's got the 57 now. She used to have twin 40s.
Yep.
We've got 6 of them.
Yeah, they got refitted a couple of years back.
Yeah, 2006, I think.
Yeah.
The 57's got a high rate of fire though, so
there you go.
200 rounds a minute from a £6 gun.
The full Bert noise, yes.
From a £6 gun, 200 rounds a minute.
That's something else.
Imagine
the
barrel cooling.
That's a lot of brass.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
it'd be sunk by a submarine instantly.
Well, Baltic's fairly shallow,
but it's got the 2 anti-submarine rocket launchers on board.
She's had submarine rocket launchers and the depth charge launchers.
Well, she's quite a jack of all trades, actually. She's when you look at the aerial, she's clearly an electronic warfare intelligence gathering ship as well.
Well, here you go. Did you know it took over the role of the flagship of the Finnish Navy? So it is the flagship of the Finnish Navy. There you go.
Yeah, very good. It's one of a 2. There were 2 of them. There were 2 vessel class.
Yep, which is named after the Hinima.
Yes. But
not the enema, the Himinima.
It's funny, they range from sort of smiley faces to like really hard-looking blokes that you wouldn't nudge in a pub. Anyway, for the mug.
Excellent.
So, Dave, how's DaveCon coming along?
The event that will no longer henceforth be known as DaveCon. Yeah, coming along very well. Sales are still ticking along. We're not doing the big promo thing because we've only got a few left now. So I think we're down to sub 15 spaces left. I think there are a few more this week went out, but with the time between now and then, we're just sort of taking it easy, let them soak up the people who are making late decisions. The AV stuff's coming along. Working with Little Grey on that one over the next week. Getting the raffle prizes together, working out what computers are going where, what gaming we're going to get up to. I was talking to Mr. Cow about some of the racing games we could put on the steering wheels and pedal setups, which we've got 3 of coming along. So we're going to have definitely some 3-player racing if we can find a game that all 3 computers can run without needing the latest graphics for the latest Forza whatever. It's coming along nicely. I need to talk to the hotel next week again and start talking to Chef and remind Chef not to use the Galnet Rares cookbook for fear of killing everybody. No fugu. We're coming along nicely. But other than that, been away with work lots. Nice to be home. I think that's about the size of it. So it's a for the mug from me.
For the mug.
And bringing up the tail gunner position then.
It's me, Phil Litherbreaker. How are
you? Keep going, Litho. I'm 73% on my last paint job.
What's that, about 6 minutes? Yeah,
I got all mine now.
me, I'm basically ramfeasled.
Yeah, so
has
am I.
Been ridiculous. In the last, what has it been since Easter, 6 weeks, I've had 3.5 days off. And I've worked something like 160 hours over and above what I would normally do.
Wow.
I've been to Hamburg twice.
Wow.
And this time last Thursday, I was on an Apex taxi on my way back from Hamburg. Tip for you, don't try and get a flight out of Hamburg Airport on a bank holiday.
No.
The app will tell you for the airport that the queue at security is 17 minutes long.
Oh, heck.
The queue for security goes all the way through all those wiggly-woggly barriers, across the entire front concourse, and past all of the check-in desks.
Wow.
It took more than 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Quite a lot more. Oh, and apparently at Hamburg Airport, they're very sensitive to you shipping 5 kilos of chocolate, because they think it might be plastic explosives.
Oh,
and they
you're
will pull you aside and check your bag.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It was only 10 bars.
Yeah.
What?
I love chocolate. I hated things that thought it was anything nasty.
What kind of chocolate?
Looks like it.
It's Marabou, the brand.
I never heard of it.
It's a Swiss brand, I think. No, Swedish brand.
Oh,
but
no.
I can't find it in England, and it is rather good. If I get out there again, I'll bring some back for ECM so you can have a try there.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Flossy's going to be blotto.
How's the front of the queue?
They do like 6 or 7 different flavours of this stuff, and the other half rather adores it. So I brought back some of everything and a few spares of the ones we know we
each
like.
flavour. Lovely.
That's why there were so many bars in the bag.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Other than that, I don't think I've been in game since Easter, sadly.
Oh dear. No. I've only been in today to get the CG stuff, that's all.
Yeah.
Because I had to do the actual forum post today because the K6 usual fellows run off his feet. So, so that's apart from the Facebook events and all the other stuff that I normally do.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're the queen of the community goals.
In fact, I sat down about 7:45 tonight, and I shut my eyes and I thought, no, if I shut my eyes I'll fall asleep and I'll end up late for the show. So I forced myself awake again and got online.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I'm hoping that this weekend I won't be working, but I've been hoping the last couple of bank holiday weekends as well, and it hasn't panned out yet, so we'll see.
Oh well, hope so. I'm just glad I'm retired. I know, sorry I keep going on about it.
No, I'm just jealous of that one. Other than that, I've had a car explode. Well, I say explode. Just bits of the back end fell off when it went in for its MOT, and they had to spend 6 days trying to get the right parts for it because apparently you can't get the parts for anything anywhere these days.
Unobtainium or something.
What was it? A Model T?
Yeah.
They broke it, did they?
It's a Hyundai.
Hyundai. Oh yeah.
It took them 6 weeks to get a side window for my car.
Yeah. This was some weird bits of the suspension in the back end, which, with it being a Santa Fe, which it's an SUV, it's not an off-road vehicle, but it's an SUV, so they're pretty rugged and pretty reliable, and the suspension never goes wrong. So when it goes wrong, there ain't no spares available.
Oh, great. I know we had to get a new running light for our this car, so that was fun.
No, other than that, I think it's probably mostly just a for the mug from me.
Oh,
okay, thank
90%.
you.
Well, look, thank you
mug.
very much, everybody. Lovely to speak to you all. Lovely to catch up. As is usual, the Green Room week happens at the end of every single month, so the next one will be in four and a bit weeks' time. So yes, we're looking forward to seeing more people then, or you all back again. Other than that, we will be back next week. I will be back next week, pushing the buttons. Yay. Because it's a half-term week and exhibitions don't happen in half-term, so I'll be working from the home office and not away from home, which will be fantastic.
Home office?
You mean
so Ella know?
Well, yes. Oh no, not working. No, not working for her. One reminder for the end of the show for those of you listening: there is a monthly charity drive going on the Hutton Facebook page as well, where there are some rather excellent models done by Commander Cully. And every single month, he tots up everybody who's chucked into his charity tin on the justgiving.com/team/Hutton Truckers Model Giveaway page for the charity page. And if you chuck in a tenner in any given month, you go into the draw, and he's got a magic wheel of awesome that spins at the end of the month, and then he sends out these glorious 3D printed and painted and mounted on stands models, or at least the Type 9 was the one that he sent me, because I won last month. But of course, the good bit is all the pennies go to charity. So far, having done this, he has raised, let's have a look,
275.
Sorry?
275.
I'm reading 305 here.
Oh, it's gone up since I last looked at it then.
Well, there you go. Yes, there's Farragut for the win. And there's a whole pile been in the last few hours. So if you're interested in winning a huge model of a Farragut, beautifully painted, made by Commander Cully, then all you have to do is go and be generous to charity. The money is being split between Hearing Dogs and Special Effect, and you can actually choose which one of the two, I think, when you hit the donate button. And chuck the money in, and everybody who's chucked money in the month goes into the draw. So yes, a good way of raising money for charity, and you might end up with a super spaceship at the end of it as well, which is not for game playing size, just in case anyone was asking. It's more for going ooh and shiny at kind of size. But
How big is it compared to a banana?
Yeah, it's at least 4 bananas.
Even the 1 ton bananas.
Well, it could be little banana, maybe 2.5 bananas. I can't really see. He hasn't
12 inch.
We'll have to ask Cully to put a banana for scale in the next picture he puts up. But yeah, so chuck in, join in, and you might get a Farragut at the end of it. There you go. But you're not doing it because you get a Farragut. It's because you could donate money to charity. So there you go. That's it for this week. Before I sort of start thinking about the buttons, we have to issue a warning about what's about to happen next, because we do tend to round off the show with Amelia being very, very, very loud indeed. So if you are of a sensitive disposition or have got delicate little ears or don't like shouty people, then you may want to take your headphones away from your ear, take the earpiece out for the next little bit, just in case. We'll give you a few seconds warning. Anybody else got anything else before I give Amelia the go-ahead? No? Great. Amelia?
For the mug! For the mug!
Mug.
For the mug.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with rail. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. No part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger